we really appreciate the opportunity to have our Toyota Camry car out on the racetrack while they are on their pace laps. That's the greatest part about this. And I think if Jeff ever gets in trouble here in the state of Kentucky, I think he could be pardoned now that he gave the governor a good ride.
I wonder if he gives him like a a business card for driving down the interstate and see how that works.
All right, let's listen into the 19 radio of Martin Truex Jr.
Meet you down there in feature lane with horse up in there again, bud. Good luck in our fight like hell, like we do every race, bud. All right, man. Sounds good. Have a good one in there, guys. We'll get after them all night like we always do. Have some fun.
And you see that visor right there, those orange tabs, that's a pull off, that's a tear off for the sun when it goes down. You're going to see all those guys pulling these tear offs off the visors. You'll see them all over the racetrack. Hopefully you won't see them on your favorite driver's grill, but that potentially has happened in the past and can create some issues for some guys.
Yeah.
I always stuck mine down in the pocket of the door and always got frustrated seeing them things flying all over the racetrack when the sun goes down.
Well, Truex has set the standard. He's won everything here at Kentucky for the last 2 years, every stage, every race. But it's been a career weekend for Daniel Suarez. He leads every category, 5-lap, 10-lap, 15-lap averages, backed it up by qualifying first, currently outside the playoff. Can he take a career weekend into a dream finish? And I really think that this is an Xfinity Series champion, Rick. He knows how to win, but has yet to do it at the Cup level. Can tonight be his night?
Daniel Suarez has chosen the inside line for the initial start of this race. Is that a good choice after what we saw in turns 1 and 2, a little speedy drive put down?
Yeah, I think there's just enough room for him to be below that, and the outside line was not the preferred line. It wasn't very successful last night. I think those guys paid attention.
Everyone on their feet, 400 miles in front of these drivers from Kentucky. Great start for Daniel Suarez in the 41 as he dives below that speedy dry. You see a little of it coming up as Almirola went through it.
Here we go. Dale Jr. talked about it. Difficult turn 3. We'll see the first time through if they're successful.
Yeah, all those guys on the bottom not in the PJ1 tire compound, traction compound. Creating some problems for those guys trying to get traction.
3 wide already for third. Kevin Harvick in the 4 on the inside. The 1, Kurt Busch on the outside, making that line work. And the 2 of Brad Keselowski had to check up.
And it's costing him. You see instantly he goes from being in the middle of 3 wide to under attack from the 3 of Austin Dillon and that red and white car on the bottom, just underneath that white number 2 of Brad Keselowski.
His teammate Daniel Hemrick in the 8 was just outside of him. Here's the vantage point that you see from Martin Truex Jr.
Watch right here. Look at those green dots. That's the throttle. Let's see how much throttle he can carry through this end of the racetrack. Completely out of the throttle. Right back into it.
He's got somebody underneath him. Looks like Clint Boyer trying to stay underneath Martin Truex Jr. down this back straightaway. I was curious as to what lane Martin would go to. Marty.
Boyer trying to get that 8 spot from Truex, who has it right now. You guys talked about that glare. We just rode with Truex through 3 and 4. Here's what Boyer had to say on the radio a moment ago about that glare in 3 and 4.
Eye on this line where I need to be. That's really hard to see. And the glare is 3 and 4. 10 4, brother. I got you.
And there you go. So, Junior, how tough is it coming through 3 and 4 when you can't really see the cars around you? You're kind of shading your eyes from the sunset.
Yeah, the whole windshield goes white, and you really can't see. Hoping that sun goes down behind them grandstands and that shade creeps around that corner through turn 4, through turn 3 to take that glare away.
So far, Rick, the blue oval. Ford, first, second, and third. Suarez, Almirola, Harvick, all SHR teammates. As you see Brad Keselowski with a nice pass on Austin Dillon. Slides up a little bit, but carries the momentum off the corner.
He had fallen back, and now he's stopped that fall. He's at 5th, just behind Kurt Busch now.
Talked about turn 3 being tough. Take a look at this 48 car. Jimmie Johnson down the corner. Loses the bank just a little bit. Chase the car up into the grip. Doesn't lose too much time. That's the great thing about that PJ1. If you do get loose on that bottom, get a slide into some grip. May help you save that car. You just want to slide into another vehicle.
Rick, I never want to slide up into the grip. I like to just keep all 4 tires going straight.
Saw Joey Logano in the 22 make the pass on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in that 17.
Ricky back to the bottom, trying to make it work.
Yeah, Junior, he said that the top group there in 3 and 4 was working well. That's an early report from Stenhouse saying get up there and use it. While Logano was using it, he had to go the other way.
Yeah, Ricky's pretty aggressive trying to get by this 22. Running tight on his door down the front straightaway.
We mentioned the traction compound. The track looking for options, right? Drivers to have options here. You can run that high line or down low.
Well, you talk about options. We showed you at the beginning of the broadcast. The best way to look is from on board. Let's go to the helmet cam right here on Ryan Preece. Dale Jr., take us around here. There's that glare. Rick questions the options these drivers have. How's it look for Ryan Preece?
Ryan, you know, he's back here in the back and searching for clean air, so it's really critical for him to move around and try to get some clean air on the nose of that car and go where the traffic isn't. He's got a guy on his door, so that forces him to run this second groove here. Trying to keep that momentum up, get the run off of turn 2, try to beat that car down the back straightaway. Down into turn 3, he's going to stay in this high groove, try to get a run here and jump on the quarter panel of this car in front of him, a 32 car. LaJoie sees him out there, gives him the room off turn 4. That's what you hope for, and you attack and go for the next guy.
Thankful our friends at Kroger give us what a great view. Look at this. Talk about a great view. Kyle Busch, that is close.
Oh, little contact there almost with the 18 and 14. Clint Boyer on the outside of Kyle Busch.
And Kyle drove the car to the quarter panel off of turn 2. He wasn't losing the nose or chasing the car. He wanted to stay on that quarter panel to hold that 14 car where it was. Here you see him, he's wanting to be there. He's not chasing his car up the track. He drives that car tight on his quarter panel around turn 2, trying to drag that 14 car back just like you would at a speedway, a super speedway like Daytona or Talladega. The side draft is such a great defensive mechanism here to keep a car in position to make the pass.
Here comes William Byron in the 24. He was able to get by the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now the 11 of Denny Hamlin also trying to fight by that 17.
Passing is going to be tough, so you got to be able to use everything you can. See, the 11 car of Denny Hamlin does the same thing there. Gets into the quarter panel of the 17 car, starts the side draft, just as we see the 14 doing. Joe Logano doing to the 14 car, Clint Boyer. Going to try to be aggressive. Oh, look at Clint Boyer, man. You didn't want to get a spot up. See what happens there. Down the back straightaway. Still side by side. Clint knows. Yeah, Clint knows this is a tough position to give up. He wants to keep it. This is what we see. We talk to these guys and they say, man, we race way harder than we used to. And without stages and without the rules that we have today, these guys would give these positions up a lot easier. Because they're, you know, it's early in the race. Going to give this spot up. I'll get it back later. You don't see that anymore. These guys race each other really hard because of how important the stage points are. And you got to think about Clint Boyer too. He's trying to control a slide in points. He doesn't want to give up any positions.
Speaking of sliding, Logano, can he slide up in front of the 14 and take the spot? He will, but he worked hard for it. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Zillow. Reimagine the way home. Coca-Cola. Enjoy Coca-Cola and make this summer the most memorable ever. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR, perfect for race fans. And by Sonic's new summertime BLT, starting at $3.99. Early on in tonight's race, 18 laps complete of the Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Kentucky. This telecast presented by Toyota. Still up front, it's Daniel Suarez, but the gap that he had on Aric Almirola has shrunk. It was about 0.7 of a second. Now it's down to 0.25 seconds, and even closer now.
And lap traffic's going to create some issues for the lead car. Daniel down into turn 1. Behind these guys, Kevin Harvick is closing in on them to make this a 3-car battle if they continue to catch this lap traffic.
Yeah, Suarez looks like he was losing a little overall speed even before traffic. Maybe his car is falling off a little bit more than the others. Lap times really haven't changed for the majority of the field. The 41, though, is slowing down a little bit. That's allowing the 10 to close in. And this is a very hard pass to complete this early in the race. As Dale said, people are going to fight for every position, but that lap traffic, if you catch it in the wrong spot, that really gives Aric Almirola in that 10 car a great run. And look at this battle right here, Rick. A couple Gibbs Toyotas being chased by a Ford, that 22 of Joey Logano. Marty?
Yeah, see battles all over the racetrack. We'll watch the battle for the lead on the left and the battle for 8th right there on the right. But for Daniel Suarez and his team, good eye, crew chief, to catch that. Yeah, they've been struggling all weekend long. 20 laps really quick, and then that's when the fall off starts to happen. But Steve, to your point, it's going to be tough for Aric Almirola, no matter how fast he is, to make that pass for the lead.
This is where Daniel needs to be, though. He needs to be in this position. He has won races, won championships at the Xfinity level. Now at the Cup Series, though, it's different, Dale. Running at the front of the pack, controlling the lead is different than back in the pack like we see the battle for 8th.
Great pass by the 22 of Joe Logano on the 18 of Kyle Busch. And Joey, this track and the traction compound, kind of, if you got to compare it to something, I almost have to compare it to Michigan. And where was that 22 car at Michigan? He was out front dominating that race. I expect him to drive his way to the front as we see it happening right here.
Talking about a great pass by the 22 of Joe Logano. This is the 48 of Jimmie Johnson.
Ooh,
high, just out of that grip stuff. You see a little slide. This is the onboard right here with the 42 of Kyle Larson. Got his attention.
Doesn't look like a big deal. I'm going to promise you, inside the car, that is a moment that got his attention.
And what do you say right away to your crew chief when that happens? Exit off, the back end comes out from behind the car?
Yeah, I definitely probably say that immediately, and then I take note of it, drive a few laps, see if it's something I need to expand on, or give Steve more information, give my crew chief more information to be able to know exactly what I'm feeling, what I'm dealing with.
It's time now for the Subway Fresh Tank. Let's find Parker Kligerman. I believe you found your way outside of the track, Parker?
I did once again. I'm outside turn 3. I found this awesome vantage point looking into the track and at the cars coming into turn 3. And one of the things I've noticed, though, and it was a discussion coming into this race, was how the PJ1 was going to work and what line was going to become the predominant line down here. And what I've noticed, it's the middle group. When drivers want to make a pass, they make a late dive to the inside and then hope to clear that car by the time they get to turn 4. But it really looks like that predominant line is in the middle. I haven't seen anyone venture up in that 3rd lane yet, so we'll have to see if that happens later on in the race.
Parker, you have more trust in these guys than me. Back to the racetrack in turn 3.
It is a little scary, I won't lie, but it's a cool vantage point. Kevin Harvick actually told me when we did this yesterday, he said, man, isn't that the coolest spot on the track? And I had to agree with him.
Back to the lead here. Daniel Suarez still maintaining pretty much the same distance on the 10 car, Aric Almirola. And if you're Daniel Suarez, let me put you inside the mind of a race car driver with a giant rear spoiler on his car. Got to drive out the mirror sometimes. Go where he is. Go, work with your spotter and understand, all right, where is that 10 car beating me? Tell me where Eric's beating me. I'm going to run in that line. I might not run quite as fast as where I would like to run, but I know I'm creating dirty air for him, creating more of a challenge for him to catch me.
You're taking his air away.
Taking his air away. People call it mirror driving. It's if you have that lead, you want to keep it, that's what you're going to do. Marty.
Brad Keselowski sitting in the 5th position right now and has been top 5 speed-wise for quite a while out on the racetrack. But is there a problem on the 2 car? Listen to the radio a moment ago.
Does the engine sound okay to you from up there? Hasn't sounded right from the start. Inside here. Have not seen nothing yet. I'll keep a close eye on it here this lap.
So you think
inside there or is audibly off.
There you go. He thinks there might be a problem of vibration with the right front. And you heard that last little bit there. Something audibly might be off inside the race car. So, Junior, use all your senses as a driver. Everybody thinks it's just visual, right? But sometimes you'll use your smell to smell what's going on inside the race car. And your hearing as well. How key is that, what Brad picked up on?
Yeah, I mean, when you're focusing as much as you are as a driver, all your senses are heightened. You're going to smell and hear, and you're going to understand. You drove this car all weekend, so he knows exactly what it feels like, what the air and movement inside the car feels like, what it sounds like. When you get a little crack in the tailpipe or some sort of an exhaust issue, you know right away that there's something different, and you start to describe those issues. We got a really good battle for lead shaping up here. Eric getting a great run, and if he gets right to that corner, that left rear quarter panel, or right to the back bumper, it can upset that 41. Take a bunch of air off that spoiler. That car's set up to depend on all that downforce on the back end of that car. And if you change that just a little bit, it can really make it difficult for the leader.
What does Eric Almirola need to do? You mentioned take the air away.
Yeah.
Can he get right up to his bumper? Should he try to go down below on the inside, either through 1 or in turn 3?
Well, I mean, if you can, you can drive as close to the back of this car as you can in the corner, and that's really going to make it difficult and give that, it's going to be a handful for the 41 of Suarez. I mean, if he's running in your lane where you want to be, you got to get up there and disturb the car on the back of that 41, disturb the air on the back of the 41.
30 laps completes. Daniel Suarez has led them all. That's the most laps he's ever led in a race. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. Go to NASCAR.com/drive or download the NASCAR mobile app today. You're watching the Quaker State 400 from Kentucky Speedway. This difficult mile-and-a-half racetrack. We're starting to see some great racing between Suarez and Almirola up front. Suarez trying to negotiate through the lap traffic already. He has caught up to the 30th place driver in Matt Tifft. He is still on the lead lap.
Like what the tandem Eric Almirola just did right there, running off the racetrack a little bit, a little of that clean air Junior talked about. trying to make that work, and he has to get going. Business is picking up because right off his deck lid is the 4 of Kevin Harvick and the 1 of Kurt Busch.
Things heating up front, and thanks for joining us, Jeff Burton, after being out there on the racetrack right before the pace laps took place. That was pretty awesome.
That was a lot of fun to have the governor on board. Then come up here and see this great battle for the lead. That's good timing.
And this is where the struggle has been for the 41. As his handling seems to go off a little bit, it allows the 10 to close in. But as that 41 catches lap cars, you see him up the racetrack a little more than he wants. On the right side of your screen, Austin Dillon trying to hold off Joey Logano. Joey Logano moving up through the field. +4 since the original start, Marty.
And it's perfect to watch Joey Logano moving up through the field, because that's what Joel Edmonds, a spotter for Eric Almirola, is using as an example for him. He's saying, hey, the 22 is making passes in the middle of 1 and 2 and then diving down and using the very bottom groove of 3 and 4. The only car that's been able to do that. So you've seen Eric do that the last few laps, trying to get some clean air on the nose of that 10 car. But Junior, that's great information from Joel Edmonds, but it doesn't necessarily mean Eric can put his car there and make that pass for the lead work.
I'm telling you, I just think it says so much about how great of a race car Joey Logano has right now. I mean, he's passing top 10 cars here with ease. We know it's difficult to pass. We see the battle for the lead and how hard it is for Eric Almirola to position himself to take it. But Joey Logano slicing through the top 10, and he's in 5th place.
Clint Boyer in the 14 is on pit road. We would expect this to be early.
Well, you know you have to pit in this stage. This is dead in the middle, lap 40, so I think it's a strategy call. Even though tires aren't super valuable, Marty, the 14 must feel there's an advantage to get them on early.
Yep, this is scheduled, and for the cars that kind of fell off, Steve, like we're seeing Daniel Suarez, teammate to Clint Boyer, kind of falling off right now, they felt like, hey, when we can get on tires quicker, that will help us. The disadvantage to this, though, you're going to put yourself a lap down here and put yourself in the danger zone for a little while. So as long as a caution doesn't come out, this might work out for Mike Bugaravish and his team.
Marty, we've worked together a long time because you're finishing my thoughts, which is exactly it. The negative is pit road quiet. Most racetracks, we see one car pit and everybody joins them. I just don't think there's enough tire fall off. I think there's a big risk for this 14 as we see the 18 of Kyle Busch battling with Dillon.
Yeah, he was able to get by the 3 of Austin Dillon, so Kyle Busch has moved up to the 7th position. We mentioned how Logano, after starting 11th, has made it up to 6th.
Hey, Joe Logano, yeah, he just ran a 29.83. The leader run a 33. Second was a 39. Third was a 30.56. That 22 is flying.
Dave.
You said a few laps ago, did Ryan Blaney, I don't know what's going on. The front is chattering so bad. They're going to change air pressures all the way around and do a chassis adjustment. You see the wrench going in the rear window there for Blaney.
This racetrack's going to change a lot, isn't it, Steve? Just because you're off right now does not mean that you can't have a good race. This track's going to change. The grip level's going to change a great deal. And the way the car drives is going to change.
Well, a lot of crew chiefs for years, it was how is the balance of your car going to change as the track cools. The new word in the garage area is, can you trim your car out? What that means is, can you afford to have less downforce, less grip, but that means less drag, which makes it seem like it has more horsepower. Basically just cuts through the air better. So I think it's going to be, the players could change as the sun goes down. Kelly.
Kyle Busch has also been out there turning some of the fastest laps on track. Remember, pre-race I told you that he was not happy with the balance of his race car in practice. He told me it was because there was too much separation between the two different ends of this track. And I got to see that firsthand in my ride along with Jeff Burton yesterday, just how distinctly different the two ends are, and a challenge for the crew chiefs to make the car balance well throughout. I will tell you though, Kyle very happy, at least initially, firing off in this race.
Here comes a fight for second as we see the 4 of Kevin Harvick coming into the picture. All 3 of these cars up front from the same organization, Stewart-Haas Racing, Suarez, Almirola, and Harvick.
Drivers, it seems like good cars, it's all about good decisions. Lap traffic, you have to attack it.
No.
Oh, we see Chase Elliott with an
Right
issue.
front tires flat on that 9 car.
That's going to be very costly as he comes down to the bottom of the racetrack. I don't see a yellow out.
He's wanting the yellow, and all those guys that pitted earlier, they're not wanting it. There it is.
And there's the caution. As you mentioned, some of those trying strategy coming to pit road early. Didn't want to get caught a lap down. The right front tire completely down on the 9.
Well, hey, Marty talked about the risk for drivers like the 14, the 12, cars that came to pit road. As we see the 9 limp to pit road, 14 of Clint Boyer is a lap down, so isn't the 12. I expect everybody to pit, so they may be able to take a wave around, be creative, but they've lost all their track position.
Suarez, Almirola, 1 and 2. We've seen Almirola challenge so many times to get by Suarez as they go to work on the right front of Chase Elliott.
Right here, guys. Just right.
That's an inner liner inside those tires. Anytime they're on a racetrack a mile or larger, NASCAR mandates that Goodyear have inner liners.
You wonder if everybody on pit road has some concern about that, seeing the right front down. Does that make every crew chief nervous? Cannot be tight. If you're tight, can it hurt that right front tire?
Yeah, I'm a little shocked. I hadn't seen any tire wear concerns. Maybe he just ran something over. But to your point, Jeff, I would be curious, to say the least. It looks like Chase will only lose 1 lap, which is going to be good for him, right? You can recover from 1 lap down. A lot of opportunities to get 1 lap back.
The Open, golf's most storied major championship, returns to Northern Ireland for the first time since 1951. Coverage begins on Golf Channel Thursday at 1:30 a.m. Eastern, then next Saturday on NBC.
So Rick, am I the only one that I'm going to set my alarm? Make no mistake about it. 1:30 a.m.
Well, there'll be quite a few of us that will be up watching that.
And then I love the fact, you know, we'll be in New Hampshire next week, but I love that early morning 7:30 on Saturday. Get to watch a little golf before the races starts.
And we mentioned Ryan Blaney came down pit road early and got caught. He is actually 2 laps down right here. Once the leaders pit, he takes that wave around and get one of those back, but he's not as lucky as Chase Elliott, Clint Boyer.
We saw Kevin Harvick run Almirola down. He had a comment about tires. Let's see what he had to say.
What do you think on tires? Do you think it's hanging on okay or not? It just keeps getting tighter in 3 and 4. I mean, I'm better than the cars in front of me, but hard to pass them. Zach said it's actually only about 2.5 seconds of fuel, so the fastest thing would just be a splash of gas and make it to the end.
I love that communication. That's the question, right? Hard to pass. So are tires more valuable than time? That is the whole strategy decision. You see all these drivers, they all will come to pit road because they need fuel to make it to the end. They said a 2.5 second splash of gas. Some I'm sure will take right, some will take 4. It's going to be a mixed bag, Dave.
Track position, track position, track position. Kevin Harvick will try to pick up 2 spots on pit road. I believe they're going to go with fuel only at this point. Let's see what the 14 goes and does. Sunoco fuel will go in by 1 can, but they won't need all of it. You heard 2.5 seconds. Harvick, if he hits his marks, has a good start to the pit stop. They are going to change right side tires.
Dave, the call for Eric Almirola, hot dog. So we'll see what that winds up being. His teammate Daniel Suarez at the front of pit road. He has led all 49 laps of the race so far. For Almirola, it's going to be right side tires only. For Suarez, it's going to be 4 tires. They are going to lose a ton of track position. And as you predicted, Steve, all over the map with pit strategies you can see on the graphic.
Yeah, the race off pit road brought to you by Kroger, showing Keselowski, Kurt Busch, those 2 deciding not to change tires. That might be a mistake after we see what happened to Chase Elliott. And this Wednesday, make sure to tune into NBC Sports on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. As a matter of fact, I think NBC Sports is taking over. Mike Bagley will be there, but I know Jeff Burton is going to be his co-host for the entire time. And they'll have a special guest. That's right. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to join them.
Yeah, that's going to be weird. That's going to be weird with Jeff interviewing me. We work together.
Man, there's no soft questions coming.
I
Hard balls.
better be nice to him today.
I'll tell you what.
Tough question.
Where could you find a party at Kentucky Speedway? Well, you just find wherever Parker Kligerman is.
Right, Rick, guess what? I'm over turn 1, but I'm in the college party deck, and this is awesome set up by Kentucky Speedway. I'm going to walk back here. Some of the fans out here. Just check this out. We're going to keep walking. Oh, they're going crazy. They're buying natty lights down here. Guys, this is my vibe. These are my people. I love this. This is awesome. Look at this crowd down here of college kids, young 20-somethings, having a great time enjoying NASCAR. I'm not leaving, guys. This is my spot. You've lost the pit reporter. I'm done.
I knew we had to come to you early because we probably won't hear from you the rest of the day.
Rick, we talk about decisions. I'm trying to decide how long my cord is on my headset, see if I can get all the way down there. But listen, the leader, Daniel Suarez, such a great weekend, such a great first stage, 4 tires. I struggle with this call. He will line up 14th. I do not see a path in 29 laps to get back to the front. Hopefully he can prove me wrong, but it's going to be a tough road ahead.
No tires changed for Keselowski and Kurt Busch as they approach the Geico restart zone.
Kurt Busch hanging tough on that outside.
Northgano 3 wide behind him, jump on the outside, pushing the issue.
Wow, look at this. Boy, turn 3 is going to be fun. Kevin Harvick diving to the inside. 3 wide through turn 3.
Fought really hard to get that bottom. Did not want to lose the bottom, get stuck in the middle.
Yeah, this is why I'm thinking all night long. These restarts
block.
are crazy. Wow,
that was by Keselowski.
That was aggressive.
I thought he didn't look like it at Daytona.
That was a pretty aggressive block. That shows you how important these positions are for these drivers. Wow, the 2 and the 18 still battling off of turn 2. Keselowski a little bit out of control there. Trying to gain control of his car down to the bottom. Isn't in the PJ1. Kyle Busch is. Going to give Kyle the edge, I believe.
And behind him, Keselowski had gotten by Harvick.
Oh, we got a crash over here.
Sideways goes the 32 of Corey LaJoie, and that brings out the caution.
Wow, no contact. Doesn't look like there's any damage there.
Tires down. Oh, they're up right now. I can see them.
Very, very lucky to stay out of the fence. Great driving.
Caution comes out. Does that mean more pit strategy? We'll find out on the other side of the break. It's already been a busy weekend for JTG Doherty drivers Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece. On Thursday night, they visited more than 800 Kroger employees at their headquarters, which is in downtown Cincinnati. And then earlier today, they met with fans and signed autographs at the Planters Nutmobile display here at Kentucky Speedway. You see that on the back of the 37 of Buescher as he had just come to pit road. There's Ryan Preece. Preece right now running in the 19th position. As I mentioned, Buescher was on pit road.
Huge break. We talk about, breaks that change your race. We saw Chase Elliott have a flat tire. The yellow came out, which was a huge break for him when he was coming to pit road. Right here, though, he gets the free pass. He was scored the first car 1 lap down when the yellow was displayed. That's going to put him back on the lead lap. And while Ryan Blaney wasn't fortunate enough to get the free pass, Jeff, he has to feel good that he's not racing Elliott anymore.
Yeah, now he's really the best car 1 lap down. Didn't have to race Chase Elliott for it with the stage in coming in 24 laps. So he's got a good opportunity to get back in the lead lap after being 2 down.
Again, the caution comes out for Corey LaJoie in the 32. And you see them going into that difficult turn 3. 32 goes sideways. And that brings out caution number 2. We'll have the restart when we return. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Subway, make it what you want. And by Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Evening racing. Under the lights at Kentucky Speedway, the sun about to set. It's about 30 minutes away from sunset here in Sparta, Kentucky. Moon's already out. And we've already seen 3 wide going into turn 3, which is something I didn't think we were going to see. Side by side, it's brothers. Kyle Busch on the inside, Kurt Busch on the outside.
Kurt chose the outside for this restart. Remember, he doesn't have any tires. Kyle Busch took 2 tires on that last stop. 3 wide here. Eric Almirola trying to put Brad Keselowski in the middle. Brad doesn't have tires either. He was struggling on that last restart. Look at Denny Hamlin around the top. 4 wide off of turn 2.
See, if there's room for everybody, they'll have to sort it out before they get to turn 3. Curtis clearing Kyle getting into 3 for the lead. Daniel Hemrick stuck in the middle, back there in that yellow car.
You guys were praising Joey Logano earlier. Now he's up to second. What can he do with Kurt Busch?
Man, he's got to be smelling blood in the water here. Kurt Busch without those tires. He's going to have to run hard to try to put a little distance on him, get a little few laps up in the book here. Even out that advantage that Joey has on those tires.
Just saw the 19 flash by. Remember, Martin Truex Jr. is the only one to ever win a stage at this racetrack. And right now he's got quite a few in front of him. Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Eric Almirola. Truex back there in 6th.
Remember, the Stewart-Haas cars were first, second, and third when all these pit stops started. Now Almirola in the 5th in that 10 car. He's the highest one up. Harvick just getting by him.
Truex got down in the corner, just couldn't get in the corner. The 2-car, Keselowski, basically drove right around the outside of him. That 19 car just not quite as good as they want it to be. Gonna have to work on it. Maybe this track changing, the sun going down might help him a little bit, but that was impressive by Brad Keselowski there.
See Denny Hamlin up in front of the shot. He was working that upper lane and wanted to.
Yeah, he liked it on that restart, trying to keep that car going. Marty.
Brad Keselowski sitting in 7th, trying to get Eric Almirola for 6th, and a caution, Rick.
Caution has come out, and looks like the 00 of Landon Cassill with an issue.
Big break for Ryan Blaney here. This is going to get him the lucky dog and back in this race.
Blaney was the first car scored a lap down. Oh, and you see 2 cars sideways.
Yeah, they were sideways early in the corner.
51 of Bailey Curry also was sideways with Landon Cassill.
Excuse me, Rick. Cassill had just pitted to top off for fuel. That's why he was in the very back.
And Rick, I think we might see some other cars towards the back half. Top off fuel here. Strategy race. If you don't have track position, stay ahead on your strategy.
Under 17 to go. The first stage from Kentucky. Injured in August of last year in an IndyCar race at Pocono. Had a back injury that has taken away a lot of the mobility, and he is going to be riding and driving one of the pace cars. And I know every single driver in IndyCar has mentioned how great that is to see him back at the track.
Jeff's mentioned multiple times he has been very public with his recovery, putting things out on social media, and It's amazing the fight. Kelly, I know, went out and sat down with him, and she talks about just how much effort he puts in every day towards his recovery.
Kelly.
So, Rick, it looks like Kyle Busch staying out under this caution, but last time he came to pit road, he was then told he needs to be a little bit more careful about how he's getting on to pit road.
Definitely need to watch it on pit road entry. Got a warning that was more than enough. What are we getting warned for? I'm not sure. I think not being single file on pit road entry. Okay, 10-4. I just thought we were early on pit road, so I was trying to see. Okay.
All right, so you see him just diving down a little bit there on Joey Logano. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, so I don't think it's very egregious. I do think it deserved a warning, just like that. As NASCAR says, hey, you're getting close to the edge. We're not ready to call it, but I love the fact that they warn him, let Kyle Busch know. Like he says, hey, I'm trying to get a better view. So, you know, I like that NASCAR gives the driver that information, Jeff.
Yeah, the driver wants to get to the left as quick as he can so he can see. You got to be careful. You know, if you get too far up, get to the left and move up on the 22, you can set yourself up for a penalty.
Let's find out where Parker has ended up after leaving turn 1.
Yes, Rick, unfortunately I had to leave the college deck party there, but I did find myself in a cool place outside of turn 2 over here, and we've been here since the restart where you saw Denny Hamlin go 4 wide, and he was absolutely right next to the wall. It was really cool to see, and then we saw when Bailey Curry and Landon Castle got sliding, and they came right up into us, and my cameraman Jake and I kind of had to jump out of the way, but it's really interesting to see them using the different lanes down here, and especially Denny, who stuck to that top lane throughout that run there until the caution. He was making a lot of headway.
Parker, you're doing this all wrong. Rutledge never leaves the parties. What'd you do?
I know. I need to increase my insurance. I'm going to go to places like this.
And Parker, you do know that there's a wall and a fence between you and the cars. Let's actually go to Marty.
Hey, Rick, we've seen Brad Keselowski struggle on back-to-back restarts. He said the car just not accelerating like he thinks it should, so he thinks he has a valve spring issue. Should Jeff kind of walk us through the valve spring potential issue for Brad Keselowski and how that might affect the two for the rest of the night?
Well, he has to hope he doesn't have one because it won't get better. It would get worse. Normally, if you have a valve spring that's broken, then other parts will follow and they'll start breaking as well.
We've been noticing him having some issues on restarts, maintaining position, then start to get better as the run goes on after a few laps. Keep an eye on that.
Field once again approaching the Geico restart zone. It's Kurt Busch, Joey Logano making up row 1. Kurt Busch on the outside, Logano on the inside.
Saw Keselowski lay way back trying to get some momentum, but it didn't work.
Yeah, that whole row, Brad Keselowski, look at the 17, forcing his way between Keselowski and Martin Truex Jr. That row of Keselowski and Truex Jr. laid way back. And the 17, man, he's aggressive.
And that Hemrick getting underneath him.
Look at the 2. So look at the 2. He definitely has an issue of some sort with that motor. The same thing on the last restart. Found himself 3 wide, lost many spots.
He's way up the racetrack now. Daniel Hemrick's got to give him some room here.
And up front, Kurt Busch holding off Joey Logano for now, but here comes Logano side drafting Kurt Busch as they go into turn number 1. Logano, can he slide up in front of him?
Here comes that 1 back on the outside. He's back on his quarter panel down the back straightaway. He has position. 22 trying to side draft, slowing down. Oh, he just can't do it. He's going to drive into the corner though. He's down there.
It's going to be hard to make the pass here. The best you can hope is that you could lead with him. Couldn't do it.
Look at that 11 there on the outside. Denny Hamlin still making headway on that high side on these restarts. Racing his teammate, man, they're going to go in there shallow.
Yeah, really shallow. Turn really early. Hamlin followed him down there trying to side draft him, pulling back to him.
And Kyle Busch takes the spot away from teammate Denny Hamlin. So Kyle Busch up to 3rd, Hamlin 4th, Almirola running in the 5th position.
Yeah, so glad Kurt held off that 22. I feel like that 22 gets a lead. We're all in trouble. He's just going to drive away.
It was inches from being clear. Inches. Dave.
And you guys remember what Kurt told Kelly in Countdown to Green, that we are right there with the other top teams. We just need to get our wins. They almost had one last week, Marty.
Chatted with Joe Logano before the race, and he has done an incredible job tonight, Dave, coming up through the field, passing everybody, +9 since this restart, or since the last restart before this one, and making his way through the field in the bottom of 3 and 4 as well. He told me, I'm going to learn some things tonight. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, we're a little bit different, not drastically different than we've been much of the year, but a little bit different. If it works, we can use it later in the year, and it's working tonight for Logano.
How about this run from Daniel Hemrick, guys? I'd say his best run of the year on a 1.5 mile, qualified well, running 8th. He's racing a late model on Monday, gonna run the Redbud 400 in Anderson Speedway.
Yeah, it's his first start here at Kentucky. Doing really good. Take a look at this restart. Watch the 17, Ricky Stenhouse. We talked to him this week, and man, he's trying to make things happen. Trying to help Roush get some momentum, some speed, and he's also trying to get some positions on these restarts. Look at the 24 William Byron doing the same thing back there. These restarts are so fun to watch. These guys know they got to take advantage of each other.
There goes Martin Truex Jr. in the 19 to the inside of Daniel Hemrick in that 8. Truex Jr. has moved up to the 8th position. Kevin Harvick in front of him. After the aggressive restart, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. running in the 6th spot, chasing after Eric Almirola, who's 5th.
That's a cool shot. This track's rough. It's relatively newly repaved, but when they repaved it, they didn't try to make it perfectly smooth. They tried to kick some bumps in there, keep some character to it.
We talked about that visor shield having that tear off. It's gone. Martin has removed it. We got shade just about all the way around this racetrack. A little sun on the back straightaway.
Well, we talk about how the battle for track position has to be between driver, crew chief, and strategy. Daniel Suarez led the first 49 laps of this race after qualifying first. Crew chief decides to put 4 tires in this car. Still in the 14th position. Marty, just no movement out of this 41 since the pit stop.
Yeah, Steve, I think Billy Scott would love to have that one back. They had led all 49 laps, as you mentioned. When they came to pit road, they were leading then and then not had led all the entire day. So they actually restarted 12th after that. They've lost 2 spots since then, so that's the penalty of being back in the field. Track position is going to be everything tonight. And Steve, I'm sure if you're a crew chief up and down pit road, you saw what the 41 did. That's going to send you a signal for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, you saw it did, and it didn't work. But the 41 has a pit stop coming up in just a few laps. So, guys, maybe he can do something to try to gain some of that track position back.
Look at this 9 car. Chase Elliott with a Mountain Dew can. Looking back at the driver on the roof. Looking forward at the competition, and he's been moving through this field pretty nicely after a flat tire, getting the lucky dog, worked his way back up to 16th. Looking like he's got some great speed in this car. Man, look at him running down these guys. Busch in front of him in the planter's car.
And this is what he's dealing with. So right now, all that air is coming off of that car in front of him, and it just takes grip away from your car. So he goes to the top rather than running right behind Busch in front of him. Dave.
Kevin Harvick had a top 3 car earlier until they put just the 2 right side tires on it, then this.
Plowing. Absolutely plowing. Can't make the corner. There's the tires. I mean, unbelievably bad. Can't even tell you. I can't even rate it how bad it shattered the tires out loud.
He couldn't come up with the words to tell him how bad it was. He fell back to 7th. He's there now.
As frustrating as that is, man, gotta be happy for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 6th place right in front of him. Ricky thinks their 1.5-mile programs kind of their strong point for the company. 2 laps to go in this stage, running in 6th place.
Ricky was pretty confident. We talked to him the other day, and he really felt like this company had been running better. They'd been finishing. He came into this race feeling really good about it.
He's feeling the heat from that 4 car. Kevin Harvick trying to disrupt the air on the back of that car. He's on his quarter panel. Going to side draft, get himself in position to take this spot down this front straightaway.
Last lap of the stage.
There's the gap between 1 and 2. Kurt Busch has that lead over Joey Logano, the one over the 22, as they enter turns 3 and 4 for the final time of this stage. A week ago, it was lightning that stole the win away at Daytona. Nobody's going to steal this stage win away from Kurt Busch. He'll get the win in stage 1.
So Kevin Harvick did get by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 19 of Truex. 0 tires for Kurt Busch on the pit stop, paid off. Wins that stage, 2 tires behind him. But now what do? Has to come down pit road. How long can you run on these tires? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. You see on the left side of your screen how many tires everyone took. Stenhouse, you guys keep calling it. Great run in 7th. Has the freshest tires. Menard, more pressure on the crew chiefs.
So Kurt Busch gets the first stage win of 2019 for that one team.
Running down a dream that never would come to
It is a party everywhere around the track, inside of the track, and Monster Energy helping out with everyone, having a great time here at Kentucky Speedway. The fans with a great opportunity to experience a full day of activity here. Kelly.
And now the cars will come down pit road. Kyle Busch, one of my fellow Denver Broncos fans, was given the call. Go Broncos. We'll see how many tires that calls for. He said he was plowing tight, asking for adjustment, and it looks like it's going to be 2 left side tires for Kyle Busch.
Middle of your screen, because the leader, Kurt Busch, did not take any Goodyear tires last time, he'll take 4 now in Sunoco fuel, Marty.
I think a lot of the leaders are going to go with 4 here, Dave, because we're under caution. Joey Logano from 11th to 2nd. He said, I need a little help in 1 and 2. We're incredibly good, quote, in 3 and 4. And he said the one beating us on horsepower, that 4-tire decision, loses some spots for Logano, as some other guys go with some other strategy. Rick?
Yeah, big gains for the 2-tire stop, guys. 13 positions for Erik Jones. Kyle Busch, though, won the race off pit road.
Well, listen, we talk about 2 tires, right sides, right sides, right sides. Not here. You want to talk aggressive pit strategy? If you only need 2 and you only need lefts, just put the lefts on. A great call by Adam Stevens. Gives his driver some track position. NASCAR Pick'em on NBC Sports, the Predictor app. Rick, predict. You get 4 drivers in each stage. Which one's going to finish higher? And then you got to pick the last 3 guys in the race and where they finish. But hey, the $10,000 jackpot, it rolls over if nobody won it. So now it's up to 20 grand. Download the NBC Sports Predictor app. This guy, right? My prediction is I'm not doing this. But hey, Parker, you've had a great tour of the facility. I got one more place. Look at this awesome bull ring out off the front stretch. No thank you.
You think
they're calling me to pit road right now, Steve.
Oh, you can't make it?
They're calling me back to pit road.
Can't make it? Oh, okay. All right. Well, guys, look, we said it was going to be a confusing day. Who does what? When people come to pit road, we have a new front row. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. stays on the racetrack along with Clint Boyer. They came at you'll see right here, lap 49 and 64. So it's all about when you need fuel. First car off pit road under this yellow is Kyle Busch back in 8th. Get your pen and paper out. It's going to be one of those types of races, Rick. The most important thing is you don't need a pen and a paper to watch this craziness we're getting ready to see. Kyle Busch back in 8th. I suggest 3 wide, predict 3 wide. My predictor app says 3 wide.
I was going to say, keep your eye on that 18 car and see what he tries to do on his restart.
And remember, Blaney was 2 laps down. And now at the beginning of the second stage, here he is at 5th.
Kyle Busch is back in the 4th row. And back up to speed they go. Stenhouse Jr., Clint Bowyer making up the front row.
Yeah, 18 trying to get aggressive. Oh, he's going to get on the outside of that 88 car of Bowman.
3 wide as they go through 1 and 2.
Well, I thought he'd wait till the corner, but he tried to get 3 wide on the straightaway. The 41 car is pushing him down the back straightaway here. He's got a good run. Up to the back of the 3 car, Austin Dillon.
And now does he get Dillon loose? Not close enough.
6 and Newman cleared them both.
Stenhouse Jr. driving away with that lead.
Look at this mess behind him.
4 wide there, searching for position. One of them being the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. Again, this is one of the racetracks that he has not won at. Interesting talking to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. this week. He said they're still searching for the right setups, this team overall. But he said adding Ryan Newman has been wonderful because he's very vocal, and because of his leadership, it has really helped the entire team.
Talked to his crew chief Brian Patty today, and Brian reminded me and everyone they're going to run as hard as they can tonight for everything they can get. No stage wins, no playoff points, no race wins. They've got to start building something. He's 45 points below the cutoff line with Ricketts counting down to the playoffs.
Yeah. Ryan Newman here trying to battle and maintain that 3rd place over Austin Dillon. It started in the back of this race after a issue through inspection with that car. Side drafted hard.
How about that line Austin Dillon took off turn 4? He didn't use hardly any of the racetrack. Turned it really, really sharp. Stayed on the bottom trying to stay away from Newman.
You can see the side drafts, such a frequently used weapon to maintain position and fight for position. He's trying to stay away from that car to allow that to happen off the corner, especially when you get a run on the bottom and you're pulling away like right now. Stay low, stay off that, stay away from that guy, just like he's doing there, so the 6 car Newman can't side draft him. He can only go so far down. Newman chases him down the track.
Guys, this is a very interesting top 4 right now. Everyone's searching for a win to get into the playoffs. You have Stenhouse Jr., Bowyer, Austin Dillon, Ryan Newman. Those 4 all fighting for to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, these guys behind him got a little bit newer tire, but it seems like tires aren't quite as big a deal. So think about that as an opportunity for a team to sort of get off cycle and put themselves in position late in the race, maybe on some older tires, but holding that track position and maybe getting a win or a great finish. One of these bubble drivers popping up there and getting a great run. Be a big deal.
We talked about the mess behind this lead group. Well, watch this right here as we're riding along. Chase Elliott, see Keselowski backing up. Continuing, he said he thought he had an engine problem. Here comes William Byron, going to make it 3 wide.
Going to be 3 wide here.
Got to take your chances when you can. Here we are riding along with Kyle Larson. Underneath Ty Dillon, a little contact, trying to side draft. Coca-Cola cam, Kyle Larson. And you see right there, Ryan Newman, he stayed tough, did not give up that fight to Austin Dillon. Now he's driven away from him a little bit.
And at the top of the show, we mentioned Ryan Newman in that 6. Their car actually failed inspection, a body area that failed inspection. So their qualifying run was disallowed. And Steve, obviously fighting from a back starting position, you've got to do something strategy-wise to get your car and team up into this position.
Yeah, bravo to Scott Graves trying to find a way, looking at every opportunity. They pitted early, and then they had to come back to pit road around lap 49 and said, hey, I'm just going to stay out, trying to give himself some track position. Right here we see Stenhouse Jr. continuing to try to hold off the 14 of Clint Bowyer. Parker.
I'm still down here in turn 2, Steve, and one of the most interesting things is watching cars like the 18 of Kyle Busch running the outside lane there and trying to use it instead of down the backstretch. But one thing I did put up here, we'll wait for the pack to go all the way by, is that the wind when the pack going goes by is insane, and a lot of stuff gets in your eyes.
Notice your hair hasn't moved, though, Parker.
It's product, lots of product.
What a power move by
and
18 of Kyle Busch around the outside of the 3.
Parker was just talking about how Kyle was running the outside over there. He drove that thing way in the corner to make that pass.
The gap between 1 and 2 stays about the same, 0.3 of a second.
It was difficult for the 18 of Kyle Busch to get by that 3. Finally did it. He's going to run this 6 down really fast. If Newman sees where he's running, though, he can put himself in position to make it difficult for Kyle.
We talked about that move. Steve called it a power move, and I agree. Look how far he drove it in the corner. Austin lost it a little bit when he jumped on the outside of him, but that was just Kyle fully committed to making that pass.
There's the gap now between Ryan Newman and Kyle Busch. Newman's going to try to hold on to that track position. Third right now. You mentioned the 2-tire stop for Kyle Busch. Everybody in front of him did a 4-tire stop, but they were on pit road a lot longer ago. Lap 49 for Stenhouse Jr. as well as Ryan Newman.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, the 18 obviously has a good car, and only taking 2 tires, he still was the first car pit road, and you know, taking advantage of that. But guys, with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. leading, look at the points on the left side. We talked about playoff points, Jr., at the top of the show, you and I, and if the 17 wins, look at the scrum from 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. Marty, it's going to be a stressful run through the summer for some of these teams.
Yeah, trust me, Clint Bowyer does not want that 17 to win. He wants to get the lead back from that 17 car. And let's review the day for Clint Bowyer. Little pit strategy, put them a lap down. They took the wave around, got back on the lead lap, pitted a moment ago at lap 64, and out there now tracking down the 17 for the lead. I asked Bowyer about how things have been lately. He said, miserable. 3 finishes of 34th or worse in the last 4 races. He said the biggest problem, keeping morale going in the right direction. Steve, when you go through a slump like that, that's part of the issue. Is he's going for the lead right here. You got to keep everybody pumped up and fired up to get to the racetrack.
You got to keep them pumped up, but you know what fixes that? This right here. If this 14 can pass that 17 for the lead, that's instant adrenaline for a race team. You work this hard because you want to win. Nothing is prettier than your car leading a race.
Wild restarts is the name of the game. We're going to have a few more of these. 18 of Kyle Busch getting a push from the 41. 88 car in the middle. Man, it was wild. We got a few more coming up. 60 laps to go in stage 2.
It has been methodical. We take a look at the Toyota driver updates for Kyle Busch. Right now up front, started 10th, was as far back as 19th, but after this most recent restart, he has clicked them off one after the other.
Well, Kyle Busch has decided he is not going to run the bottom. He's been running the middle. He ran the middle 1 and 2 to give him momentum on Bowyer. Then he did the same thing in 3 and 4 and drove underneath him with momentum, and then caught the 17 and just turned underneath him.
Yeah, as we get more and more laps on these tires, the advantage seems to show. Tires do matter. Track position's important. You can maintain it. But after a long green flag run, cream always rises to the top. The good cars are always going to get to the front.
I have to disagree. I don't think tires matter. I think Kyle Busch is that good because I only see Kyle Busch is the only guy anywhere inside the top 10 with new tires. You know, I understand what you're saying. Tires are probably a little help, but Kyle Busch's run is even that more impressive because it's not like the other tires are keeping up with him.
For fourth, Newman. And the 3 of Austin Dillon. We see Suarez, the 41, on pit road. Marty.
And last lap, Billy Scott was told from here we can make it to the end of the stage. So guess what? He's going to go with those tires. And it's the same theory, Steve, we talked about earlier. Those who are really good on brand new tires, you're going to err to the side of pitting early. And certainly Suarez has been good all evening on brand new Goodyear tires. But again, 4 tires here, that's going to lose him some track position.
Track position in laps. Because the 18 of Kyle Busch was just on pit road 25 laps ago, and he's flying. He has the field covered by 2 or 3 tenths. So Adam Stevens has seen this. As the 41 comes to pit road, if I'm Adam Stevens, we are not coming to pit road until this thing is bone dry with gas. Well, now the 41 was too fast on pit road, so the dream weekend of having a great car in practice, of qualifying on the front row, qualifying on the pole, is slipping away very quickly for Daniel Suarez.
And potentially, because it was early enough, he might be able to rebound from it. Let's get into the Toyota fast lane. On the right, Denny Hamlin in that FedEx 11 has closed the gap on the 3 of Austin Dillon. Hamlin also came to pit road on lap 83. He got 4 tires as opposed to the 2-tire stop for Kyle Busch.
Denny Hamlin's had a good car all weekend, running 6th place.
See Kyle Busch going by some of the lap traffic.
Alex Bowman.
Yeah, Alex
run on that 11 car. Yeah, he's kind of hanging in here in the top 10.
Well, guys, on Thursday, Kyle Busch actually visited Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Georgetown, Kentucky, Toyota's largest type facility in the world. Busch was actually there to celebrate with some of the plant's 8,000 team members as the first 2020 Avalon and Camry Toyota Racing Development Editions rolled off the line. So Busch was there to greet team members. He signed autographs and answered questions about the first ever Avalon and Camry TRD, as well as the current NASCAR season. And I know that he was talking about his abilities at these racetracks, especially here at Kentucky, where he has been so good. Kelly.
So, Rick, I had a chance to talk with Kyle Busch's spotter, Tony Hirschman, earlier today, and I kind of asked him about the different lines people were taking and what the quickest way around Kentucky Speedway is, and he kind of laughed. He said, anywhere that you can find clean air. Well, no better spot than leading the race. Well, here's what Kyle said just a few moments ago about what he's able to do with the 18 car.
If I try to give it wheel in the center, just past center, to try to wrap a little bit lower, I want it to, it unhooks the left rear, so I can't wrap lower. So I'm hooking it worse this run, which is to be expected. 10-4. Good work here. Nobody's coming. We need to air it out best we can.
All right, so Kyle Busch now 11 laps led in this race.
You know what air it out best you can means? We're going to run long, run as fast as you can, penalize all those guys that got creative on pit strategy when they come to pit road. Stretch your legs.
Keep digging.
That was interesting, too, the information he was given. You know, he said every time he'd leave the corner low, he'd unhook the left rear, meaning it was just too loose, wouldn't have enough grip. Up top, he doesn't have to turn the wheel as much on corner exit. Not unloading that left rear like it is when he runs the bottom.
I wonder if the sun setting is going to help that as well.
Dave.
Ricky Stenhouse gives up second position to come down pit road. He hasn't been on pit lane since lap 49. Stayed out at the end of the stage, so they're going to take 4 Goodyear tires now and to fill up Sunoco fuel. He said the balance hasn't changed much, but it was off, so they're going to get a fairly significant chassis adjustment on this, probably 2 rounds in the left rear.
I like 4 tires on the green. While you think you wouldn't have a longer stop on the green, it's actually the better time. When everybody's bunched up under yellow, you can gain positions with 2 tires, so I like this call.
Got a little bit of a fender rolled up on the left front they were tugging on.
Denny Hamlin up to 5th this week at the Speedway. Toyota displayed the first ever Camry TRD and Avalon TRD, which received aero enhanced styling by Calty, Toyota's U.S. design studio, with chassis performance fortified by Toyota Racing Development. Toyota driver Denny Hamlin actually stopped by to see the show and tell for the fans as well. .38 laps to go in stage 2 of the Quaker State 400 from Kentucky Speedway. Marty.
Hey guys, Joey Logano was in the top 5, had to come down pit road. He said, I have a vibration, and came on about 5 seconds later and said, and that vibration is instantly getting worse. And he came down, they changed 4 Goodyear tires, and indeed, he had a right rear tire that was starting to come apart. So a little concern here on pit road. Goodyear officials looking at that right rear right now for Joey Logano, but he did detect it, got it to pit road safely, and got those Goodyear tires changed.
Good break, bad break. Bad break that he had to come to pit road a little earlier than they wanted. Great break, guys, and he got to pit road. The tire didn't come apart.
And you pull out on the racetrack and you hope that vibration goes away once those guys change those tires.
And everybody else has to pit before this stage in anyway, right, Steve? So as long as the caution doesn't come out, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, correct. That's exactly right. As long as it cycles through, he should be all right. Marty?
Hey, Steve, let's talk about the 14 here. Mike Bugaravich is going to have to bring Clint Boyer to pit road in the next 6 to 7 laps or so. So what do you do here if you're the 14? Clearly, the tires don't matter tonight. You got to differentiate yourself in some way. Don't you agree here on pit road? Maybe no tires, but maybe right side tires. So what would you do, even though you need points for the 14 with a pit stop coming here in a handful of laps?
I would take 4 tires here under green because that gives me options every time the yellow comes out, which is where you gain the most positions. He's 6 seconds behind Kyle Busch. He's not going to catch him. 3 seconds over Austin Dillon, 4 seconds over 5th place Bowman. So Rick, how much fuel the 14 needs? I would take 4 tires and fuel every time I pitted under green to leave options when the yellow comes out, Parker.
And you see the 3 there of Austin Dillon running in the 3rd place. This is a great run for that team, proving the speed that they have, but they have a little trouble right now. They actually have lost the alternator belt on that car, and they're trying to nurse it to the end of the stage. So what do you do as a driver? You turn off your cooling device, maybe your helmet blower, maybe any other cooling device you got. And then, Steve, you just kind of hope, I guess, that you can make it to the end.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how the 3 has for electrical setup. Some teams run dual batteries. You can go from battery 1 to battery 2 and try to conserve power. But if you only have 1 battery, you have to come up with a plan. I'm not sure 1 battery will make it all the way. But that AC, even on a relatively cool night, Burton, you just did that Ever Wonder piece on AC. It's not just AC, right? It's filtering the air. It's important for driver performance.
Yeah, he would just have to turn it off. But even if he has a second battery, that's a long way to go on that auxiliary battery. I don't know that it'll make it to the end of the race without them trying to put the alternator belt back on it.
How long of a fix is that, too, to put a belt back on?
I would probably, if I could go the last 107 laps, which is the final stage, I would just put a fresh battery in it. I think that's a cleaner switch.
Yeah, because you really don't know why the alternator belt came off, right? Maybe the alternator is broken, and that's why it came off.
Right. Put a new belt on for it to stay in the pit road when the car leaves.
Denny Hamlin having this 3 car, trying to figure out how to get by him, tries to drive in there and upset the air, but it's going to cost him a little bit of momentum. 88 of Alex Bowman to the outside. Bowman's running great. I mean, he was really nowhere early in this race to be found in the top 15, top 10. Once he's gotten some track position, he's actually showing some really good speed for the Hendrick guys.
That's a great example. You hear these drivers talk about momentum, right? You got to keep momentum. So if Denny Hamlin goes to make this pass, turns left, right, doesn't get there, slows his momentum down, gets too close to the 3 car, takes the air off his car, out of the gas, Alex Bowman taking advantage of it. That's what losing momentum gets you. And, you know, listen, what do you do if you're Denny Hamlin? He's been riding behind the 3 car. He tried to do something, didn't work, cost him a spot.
Yeah, he dove in there on the back of that 3 car trying to upset the air on it, and he lost the nose of his car. It's almost like if you're hydroplaning or hitting ice. I mean, he just loses the front of the car and has to lift. Kelly?
And Denny Hamlin has been complaining about a tight race car throughout this race, and when the tire temperatures are still low coming off pit road, he's got a bit of a chatter, so he hasn't been totally happy. But remember, he qualified 18th. When I talked to Chris Gabehart, his crew chief, said, where's your confidence level in the car? He said, a lot higher than where we qualified. So they expected to eventually run up around the top 5, which is where he is now. Denny Hamlin 5th, but they feel like they really have a good race car. It's a little too tight, though, to start out.
I'll be honest, I have a hard time analyzing who has good race cars other than Kyle Busch as he gets a little high and loses momentum on corner exit. He looks like he's getting ready to lap Brad Keselowski in the 20th position, Dave.
Ryan Blaney is on pit road, and he'll get, looks like, 4 tire. Nope, they're waiting. They're going to do 2. His car was difficult to steer, Steve, a little tight.
Yeah, and I think you guys keep bringing it up, right? Bowman, different names, Boyer. As guys cycle into the top 5, their cars just instantly look better. You know, Kyle Busch really is the only one I've seen, and Joey Logano early in the race, drive through the field.
Pass cars.
Pass.
Yeah.
Quickly.
He's having trouble passing this 2 car of Brad Keselowski. Saw him lose the nose, get real tight. Just like his teammate Denny Hamlin off turn 4 the lap before. He goes to the high side, clean air, trying to get a run. The 2's coming up in front of him. Oh, boy. And he has to lift because he loses the nose. And look at Brad.
And look at the momentum. It lost. Look at what it did to that 18 car, how much momentum he lost.
Take a look at it again.
Kyle Busch has got to be unhappy.
And he has to lift there because if he doesn't, the car is going to drive into the fence. If he stays in the gas, the nose begins to slide. Kyle's extremely unhappy there. Brad breaking the draft for some reason down the back straightaway, moving around. Keselowski fighting hard, try to stay on this lead lap, Marty.
And that's Brad Keselowski going down a lap on merit. That valve spring not getting much better. Meanwhile, Clint Bowyer coming down pit road. Mike Bugaravich, he listened to you, Steve. They're going to go with 4 fresh Goodyear tires here. Sunoco fuel easily making it to the end of the stage. Bowyer saying the car too tight. So we'll see what happens with all these guys taking all 4 Goodyear tires here and where that nets them out in track position.
18 of Kyle Busch has been able to clear the 2. Parker.
Guys, Austin Dillon on pit road as well. Was told not to slide him. I believe this will just be right side tires. Still battling that alternator issue and a track bar adjustment there, Kelly.
There's the 88 of Alex Bowman, who was last on pit road at lap 64. He did have a little bit of a vibration, but he wasn't too worried. Thought it was just that set of tires. Quick stop for him, left sides only for the 88.
2-tire stop for the 88 of Bowman.
We talked about Alex Bowman right there. You know, it's a race for everything. And one of the things that you get graded on as a driver is how you get onto pit road. Check out Alex Bowman getting onto pit road. Here is Austin Dillon. Look how far Austin Dillon was in front of him. Alex Bowman drives by Austin Dillon getting onto pit road. Pit road speed doesn't start till right there at the yellow line. Alex Bowman gained 8, 9, 10 car lengths on Austin Dillon. That's huge.
A lot of confidence for the 88 driver, Alex Bowman, after the big win at Chicagoland as we go NASCAR nonstop. Under 18 laps remaining in stage 2 from Kentucky. It's the Monster Energy Cup Series Racing. Telecast presented by Toyota.
Well, 18 laps to go in stage 2. That means it's time.
Oh,
Log
I
in.
know it's time.
Go to the garage. Swap your driver. I just did. I took Suarez out. I thought he was going to have a great day. It has definitely not gone right. He's battling right here with Kyle Busch. So I went on and made a garage swap. Rick is having some network trouble up here under the brake, and he is in major panic because he can't adjust his fantasy lineup, and it's making my fantasy lineup look better.
18 car trying to get through lap traffic. It's been tough. Here he is down in 3 and 4, trying to lap Matty D and Landon Castle, kind of splitting those guys. Then off turn 2. Oh, was there a little contact here with Daniel Suarez? If not, very close. Looked like he might have upset that 41 car a little bit, but hard to say. He's trying to get on that quarter panel. You know how important that is. We've talked about it. Even trying to lap these guys. And that's what he wants, a fast race car. Got to be aggressive.
Earlier in this.
Paul Menard coming to pit road. He's been running inside the top 10 much of the night. He says he just needs grip in 1 and 2. It looks like a fuel-only stop for the 21.
I was going to say earlier in this race, it was Stewart-Haas Racing that had 1, 2, 3. Those top 3 positions that were wrapped up. Right now, it's Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones. Dave.
Kurt Busch brings the 1 car to pit road. He was told we were going to get aggressive on these adjustments. Just so you know, the car will be loose when you head back onto the track. 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. By the way, the driver said, copy that.
I love that call by the 21. Why is he taking gas only? Because he's trying to get back on the lead lap. Only 14 laps. He knows Kyle Busch has to come. Kyle will probably take 4 tires. Good aggressive pit call out of the 21, Dave.
Here comes Eric Jones down pit road. His car was a lot to handle early on, and he was getting a little bit frustrated, but they stayed with it. Chris Gale imploring him to be patient, and he's worked his way back up toward the front now. 20 car will get adjustments, and 2 right side tires only.
Can't make a mistake on pit road. And last night it was Christopher Bell who had probably one of the strongest cars, but lost numerous pit or positions on pit road. And it was because it was the 18 team that was pitting his car in the Xfinity race. Dave?
Ryan Preece on pit road for no tires, just fuel.
And there's Denny Hamlin, who said he's been on the edge in turns 1 and 2, but car's pretty good in 3 and 4. His right side tires and fuel, Dave.
Kelly, let's see what the Stewart-Haas team does for Kevin Harvick. They'll give him right side Goodyears and just a little fuel, and it'll be 2 only. Nope, they're going to go all 4 for Kevin Harvick. His car was not good this run, but it was better than earlier when he was saying the car was chattering a lot through turns 1 and 2.
That car there. Kevin Harvick looks like he's been up against the fence somewhere.
Yeah, that right rear quarter panel had some scratches on it, right rear tire. Marty.
A ton of different decisions here on pit road, depending on what you want to do. Eric Almirola coming in. Looks like they're going to go with right side tires. Actually, 4 tires here for Almirola. Steve, you made that point. That sets you up for what you might be able to do at the end of the stage here, which is coming very quickly. Brad Keselowski coming down pit road. They have struggled all evening long with that valve spring issue. And in fact, Paul Wolfe asked him a moment ago on the radio, how's the car? He said, I'm struggling in here, my man. 4 fresh Goodyear tires for Keselowski, who lost a lap a moment ago to Kyle Busch on the track.
And Kyle Busch now on pit road coming to Kelly.
And the team reminding him not to push it, not to speed. And it sounds like they just made the call for 4 tires. He had opened up about an 8-second gap over Denny Hamlin. The sweet spot about 25 to 30 laps into a run for Kyle. And then he says the 18 gets tighter and tighter. Indeed, 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Parker.
And on pit road also should be Jimmie Johnson in the 48 car. He's actually struggled with that since they had that right side damage. It was just left side tires there, fuel, and they've been trying to get that car tightened up.
Green flag pit stop cycling through. Marty.
Tell you, for Daniel Hemrick, it's been a solid night. Rick kind of staying in the top 12 all evening long, talking to he and Luke Lambert before the race. They said, you know what? We've had qualifying speed. We need to translate that to the race. They've done that here this evening. Right side tires only waiting on that Sunoco fuel and waiting a while to get the Sunoco fuel, and almost took the jack with him. Nice save by the jack man there.
Yeah, Jack didn't go all the way down. Kelly.
And the 88 of Alex Bowman had to make a second trip down pit road. He had a tire going down, so they took right side tires only, but Alex saying it was the weirdest flat tire he's ever had.
That soon after a pit stop, you have to ask yourself, was it a lug nut? Did they hit the valve stem? You mentioned the penalty on Denny Hamlin. He's going to be rolling down pit road. And guys, I want to draw your attention to the left side of the screen. Paul Menard, I mentioned great pit call, sitting in 8th position. He knows the caution's coming out right here. Here's the uncontrolled tire. Look at this right front tire on the 11. He puts his hand on it, right there. He kind of gets it rolling with nobody touching. Has to stay within arm's reach. So I was mentioning Paul Menard. He's running in the 8th position on the left side of your screen, 11 seconds behind. He only took 3 seconds worth of gas because he knows the caution's coming out in 8 laps. Great call to save a lap. Some guys are working on track position. Some guys are just trying to stay in front of this 18 and stay on the same lap.
And that jack that we were watching for Daniel Hemrick did leave the pit box, so that is removing equipment from the pit box, so another penalty on pit road.
Man, that looked close. I was wondering about it if it crossed that line. Take a look. It can't go across that line, Steve.
Yes, you see as the car pulls forward, it pulls the jack very clearly across that front line.
Jack just didn't fall. He turned the handle and it didn't go all the way down. Going back to Denny Hamlin's penalty, remember that team had a penalty very, very similar a few weeks ago. They were very upset with the call. They thought it was not the right call. It was kind of a nickel dime call, shouldn't have been made, and I'm sure they won't be happy with that one. But the rule's pretty clear, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, the rule is pretty clear. I mean, listen, it's kind of a ball or strike call. It says an arm's length. So, 6 inches over an arm's length is technically against the rule. I'm glad I don't have to try to navigate that with all of these pit stops, but that's how it gets called.
Kyle Busch, two-time winner at this racetrack, is closing in on 600 laps led at Kentucky. That's over the 9 races that have been run here. Second most, Brad Keselowski, who's won here 3 times, has led 524 laps. So Kyle Busch becoming the dominant driver here at Kentucky, and he's shown his domination tonight. Eric Jones running in the second spot. Here's what they had to say on the radio.
You're not probably going to get the 18 here with this many laps, so just don't run your tires off of it. So what we're going to do with the stage, so just realize that.
Oh, man, that's great radio right there. That's basically the crew chief, Chris Gale, saying, hey, listen, I don't think you can run down Kyle Busch. Just, hey, drive in your mirror. You got 7 seconds over Austin Dillon. Save some tire. We've talked about they're not going to probably put 4 tires on, if any tires on, here in 4 more laps. So try to save a little life.
Hey, the same thing for the 18, right? If you're Kyle Busch, and you're hearing that from the 20, then slow down, right? And he did. He ran a 30.57 that lap. That's over a half a second slower than he's been running. If there's no pressure coming from behind, slow down, save your tires. Kelly.
Yeah, and that's exactly the message that the team has passed along to Kyle Busch. They said, look, you've got about a 2-second gap. No need to push it on these tires. Remember, Kyle got 4 fresh Goodyear tires last time they came down pit road, so now they're trying to preserve those.
Rick, these crew chiefs raised their game. And it might not be as obvious because it isn't when you come to pit road or how much fuel, how they are managing these races and helping their driver manage these races. Jeff, it is chess. It is high-level chess what these crew chiefs are pulling off, and the drivers are executing.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing how they're adapting to the situation. The other thing that's going on is that Denny Hamlin is the second car 1 lap down.
And as you say that, pit crews can't make a mistake in that high-speed game of chess that Steve just talked about.
So right here, the 47 car, he's actually, the 47 car is a lap down. It would help, right now it would actually help if the 18 would go by and get Priest. That would put Hamlin, that would put him 2 down, that would put Hamlin in the situation where he was the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, the free pass goes to the highest scored driver 1 lap down.
All right, green checker, you're pedaling.
And there was the green and white checker. Kyle Busch wins stage 2. So the Busch brothers have dominated in Kentucky. Kurt Busch won stage 1, Kyle Busch stage 2.
The 18 had actually gotten, the 47 had actually gotten back in front of the 18, which put him back in the lead lap. That made Hamlin the first car 1 lap down. That's going to make him the free pass.
Kyle Busch looking for his 3rd win here at Kentucky.
Running down a dream that never would come to me. Working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. Running down a dream.
Monster Energy Cup Series returns next weekend to New Hampshire Motor Speedway for 3 days of exciting on-track action at New England's biggest summer party destination. Kids tickets just $10 for the Cup race. Go to NASCAR.com/tickets. Parker?
Rick, Austin Dillon's going to pit out at third place. They're just going to do left side tires. They were debating whether to change that battery or not, and they elected not to change it. They're going to risk it. Kelly.
Kyle Busch gives up the lead. The call, Chick-fil-A. They're not showing their hand. It's fuel only. Dave?
Left side tires for Eric Jones and fuel. And they make a small adjustment to help him at the start of this run.
And as Kelly mentioned, gave up the lead, but with just a splash and go of fuel, the 18 comes off of pit road first. Again, no tires, just fuel for Kyle Busch. 2-tire stop for Jones and Dillon. Not at all. I have you. The Grassroots Racing Tour continues all across the country. There are 500 of those Grassroots Racing Tour signs at so many small tracks across this country. Grassroots racing at its finest. My track, my roots to tell your stories. All you have to do, go to your short track, enjoy the event, and then tell your story. Tell the story that took place that you enjoyed that evening. Hashtag my track, my roots. Be a part of our broadcast. We'd love to show you during our NBC broadcast. And a couple drivers who I'm sure have plenty of stories of short track racing. Our two drivers.
Yeah, Jeff, I used to race at places like Myrtle Beach Speedway, I-95 in Florence, the fairgrounds in Nashville. I love this program of NASCAR, of NBC, going back to our roots, showcasing what's happening today, allowing us to talk about our history and bridging that gap.
Yeah, I was South Boston Speedway and Orange County Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina, and I grew up going to races at South Boston and watching my heroes race and having a chance to go and celebrate with those short tracks all around the country, what they mean to people and really what they mean to the Cup Series, because it is the feeder system, and with that energy at that local racetrack, that makes racing better all over. So if you're somewhere and you see something cool, hashtag it and send us some cool stories and some cool pictures.
Well, Rick, another caution, another update on the running position of everyone. You see right there, Clint Bowyer, he's the leader. He has chosen the outside. He stayed on the racetrack on the left-hand side. You see the last pit lap and how many tires. So Bowyer at 134, 4 tires, first car off pit road. Kyle Busch with no tires, just a little more fuel, Marty.
We talked about Mike Bugaravish needing to differentiate him and Clint Bowyer from the rest of the field. Well, he's made that move, Steve. They can connect this window to the end of the race. Only one more pit stop for Bowyer. We'll see if he can keep this track position all evening.
That's it. That's the name of the game. And where you have to keep it? Right here on this restart.
Bowyer and Kurt Busch making up row 1. Bowyer on the outside in the 14. Kurt Busch on the inside in the 1.
Driver's going to try to hold it wide open all the way through 1 and 2. Bowyer's goal is to pin that one car down. So Amarola making it 3 wide.
Absolutely, getting way down there on the bottom, trying to keep that run going, not get side draft by the middle lane. It's a shallow entry into turn 3. Kurt Busch chasing the car up there. Eric Jones has to go wide.
William Byron's up there as well in the 24
car
second.
here.
Hey guys, he lost his 4th gear there. He's got no gear, no final drive. He's coming down to pit lane.
Oh boy.
Second gear, Aubrey. Second gear, Aubrey. Stop at the
3
bottom.
wide again, and now Kurt Busch backs out as
Break for the
Kyle
garage,
is
break for the
trying to
garage,
work
break for the
his
garage.
way up.
And he slid up a little bit, trying to chase that car up the racetrack, driving up the racetrack. His teammate, Eric Jones, uses the side draft to go by on the back straightaway. Ryan Blaney dives to the bottom. Oh, Eric Jones loses the car a little bit there.
That was a great save, and that slowed him way up. Look at Kyle being pushed by his brother Kurt down the front straightaway. Now he makes a move to get underneath him.
Side by side down into turn 1. Kurt Busch, what a move, man.
He cleared him.
Yeah, Chevrolet has never won here. That's awesome drive for that car tonight.
Nice work. Get your marks down here.
Kyle Busch right now, he's thinking, what the heck, man? I was leading this race, dominating. Now I'm back here fighting these guys.
Kurt Busch is chasing his car. He's loose to the corner. Up front, Bowyer.
Remember, Clint Bowyer was battling for the win last week.
These brothers are still battling back here.
Oh, they won't give each other any quarter, man. They're gonna race each other hard.
And remember last week, Kurt Busch, man, feels like he had one taken away from him. Seeing a little bit more fighting in him than usual tonight.
And Clint Bowyer, he's decided on the left-hand side of the screen, he's gonna run that top. If William Byron's gonna pass him, he's gonna have to do it on the bottom of the racetrack. Parker.
And guys, William Byron got to 2nd place with a great restart at the front of the field, and that is something him and Chad Knaus have been working on. Now that they're running up front this year, he's had to adjust to what happens at the front of the field in restarts and try to get better at it. He had a great restart there, and now he's put himself in position, battling for the lead.
How about that 18 car? I saw you jump. He jumped in the middle.
Good Lord.
Look at him. He's the first one to go make that outside work in 1 and 2. A lot of people are using it in 3 and 4, but the advantage he got down the back straightaway was huge. Watch him see if he does it again.
It was. It's really cool because you don't really see the advantage in the corner when you run the high side. Both of them are in the gas here, wide open, but the momentum he gets down the back straightaway and the draft he gets off the toe of that one car, huge runs down the back straightaway.
Guys, I love this. This right here, this 2 box is like me looking out the window because there's battles for both. The lead on the left, 4th on the right, and the drivers are so close. One mistake, one wiggle, and there's going to be a pass.
You got the veteran out front, and Clint Bowyer trying to school this rookie.
And
Byron.
listen, it's 95 laps to go, right? It sounds like that's a long way, but we have seen how hard it is to pass. Clint Bowyer knows he needs to win a race to get into playoffs. He is going to act like this is just a few laps left to go. He is going to do everything he can to keep William behind him.
Williams getting great runs on the bottom of 3 and 4. He's able to drive up to this 14 car Clint Bowyer off of turn 4. Clint's breaking the draft down the straightaway. He broke it down the back straightaway the last lap. He sees that 24 car beating him through the middle of the corner.
And Junior, how's this track changing? The top 3 cars just ran the fastest laps they've run all night long. So it's getting cooler, track's gaining grip.
Another interesting story building here is the 24 of William Byron is winless in the Monster Energy Cup Series. The last 2 races, first-time winners in the Monster Energy Cup Series. Could William Byron make it 3 in a row? The last time it happened, 1950, just the 2nd year of NASCAR's existence. Marty.
You see Joey Logano on the right-hand side of your screen trying to get 7th from Jimmie Johnson. And you remember early in the race, Logano was tearing through the field. He told Todd Gordon a moment ago, I feel like we're not as good now as we were early in the race. And then Jeffy made an interesting comment. He said, I feel like the PJ1 is starting to go away and the track is changing. We must keep up with that on the last stop.
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge tonight, guys. I think keeping up with this racetrack, and as that compound wears off the racetrack, where do you want to put your car and how do you need it to handle?
Yeah, Burton, in that last stop, Marty reported the 14 on the left side of your screen, the leader. Mike Bugaravich pulling that strategy, staying out, trying to get track position. He's done it. Everyone at home should understand, while there are different pit laps for the front 10, 15, 20 cars, everyone only has to come to pit road one more time for fuel. So depending on when the caution comes, this is kind of it. The table's been set. The chairs have decided. Now what do you do with it? As we see Brad Keselowski 3 wide there off the corner.
You see Brad in the middle of all kinds of battles on that long, trying to make that car work, down on power. The PJ1, we see drivers think it may be wearing out right where the 19 car of Truex is running. Is it wearing out? Talked to the winner last night, Cole Custer. He said definitely it wears out. You had to chase it and go find it as the race went on, running higher and higher throughout the night. So when we see these guys move around and find where that PJ1 still is on the racetrack.
And these changing conditions and this difficult racetrack, it's created something very interesting. Of the top 7 cars, there is only one car, one driver, Kyle Busch, that's won this year. 6 of the 7 are looking for their first win.
Great racing tonight. Battles everywhere. Denny Hamlin, the 19 of Truex, down into turn 1. Oh, man. Denny getting a little bit close to that 6 car. Now down the back straightaway, a little contact. And it wrinkles the quarter panel on that 11 car. Luckily, no flat tire on the left rear for this coming back. Oh, wait a minute. We got an issue on the
Slide by
racetrack.
48. Jimmie Johnson sideways will stay here.
He's got some damage to that right rear. He's made contact with something.
He was 7. Right rear tire is down.
Oh, man. Roll right side of the car.
All right side, heavy damage. You mentioned it, Junior. Definite contact, the quarter panel.
fellas.
Here's a replay. Down into turn 1 here. Really loses the back, just gets really loose, and they're going so fast in full throttle. There's no way of saving that.
Yeah, the center of the corner speed is so fast with this package. As you said, they use so much throttle, and when you lose grip, you lose a ton of it, and you lose it fast, and Jimmie just never could catch up. What a disappointing ending for these guys. Had a really good run going.
I think it shows, though, man, even though we've got these big spoilers on the back of these cars and these guys got all this downforce, they're still on edge. They are still on edge. You got a 7-time champion here having issues, losing grip.
Yeah, to make them go fast with this package, you have to be loose. You have to make it the back of the car not stuck. You got to make it so it slides through the air. Actually take a little downforce off the car to make it go fast. Parker.
That's exactly what they had on that 48 all night, Jeff. And you see that little bit of bare bond there that they put on the right rear. That's from that little earlier contact with the wall coming off turn 4. And he struggled being loose all night, and you saw the ramifications of it there.
A few cars will make their way onto pit road under this most recent caution. We'll take a quick break, get right back and sort it out. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Mountain Dew. Do the do. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR, perfect for race fans. And by Toyota. Let's go places. In the background there you see Lake Cumberland Speedway in Burnside, Kentucky. Right now Tommy Gregory leads the modified points at that racetrack. You're watching Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Kentucky. This telecast presented by Toyota. Incredible party atmosphere that is going on here. The most recent caution coming out will bunch everybody back up again.
But we talked at the top of the show. Playoffs, playoffs, playoffs. The time is coming. Daniel Suarez, this was supposed to be the big night where something was going to happen. Things have gone kind of away, but right there, he gets the free pass back on the lead lap. Why that really matters is look at the playoff points. He's down there 15 out, but above him in 15th, Jimmie Johnson. We just saw the accident. So the unfortunate accident for Jimmie Johnson is a good fortune for Daniel Suarez, but now can they capitalize with 85 laps to go? Marty.
Well, his teammate Clint Boyer is in the lead. Mike Bugaravich has done his part to get him there. So let's chat about how you play the game from here. Obviously, you've played some strategy on pit road to put yourself in this position. How do you keep that track position?
Yeah, first stage, you know, we were trying to be the first one to pit road to try and make up some time, and it kind of bit us there. Got stuck a lap down, so we had to work our way back into position. So just kind of doing the opposite on strategy, get ourselves back up there. But now that Rush Truck Center Ford Mustang's pretty good up front. So we just got to see if we can close it out here. Everybody's still got a pit to make it to the end. We still got to get to that window. So hopefully it works out in our favor.
You guys just had a discussion about knowing that this is likely going to be a green flag stop. What do you say to Clint to make sure it's executed the right way, and to your guys to make sure they do their job?
Biggest part's no mistakes.
There you go. Got to keep it clean, and they want Boyer to stay up front. The one thing Bugga and I talked about today, Steve, stopping the bleeding. They have lost so many points, 10 positions since May in the championship standings. They need points desperately, but a win, oh man, would that change the game for the 14 team.
Yeah, no mistakes, and Kevin Harvick had an uncontrollable tire, so he had an issue on pit road. Want to take a look at the Ram trucks built to serve tonight.
Yeah, you got to have some aggressive restarts like we saw from Stenhouse Jr. A few of the guys early in the race. That's gonna be your friend if you can make positions then.
And pit strategy, I agree. It's going to probably be a green flag restart. How much fuel do you need? Can you have time to put 2 tires on it or 4 tires? And when you do, execute. It's one thing to decide how many tires, but you can't have penalties, you can't have mistakes.
I'm going to go with 18 versus the field. We saw the 18 car, Kyle Busch. He drove away from everybody by about 10 seconds before this round of pit stops. He's now back in 5th. Can he get himself back to the front?
A lot of things to keep our eye on as we have 83 laps remaining. The next time they come by, and it's Boyer and William Byron.
All right, so William Byron, he's underneath Clint Boyer. Well, remember back to Chicago, William Byron was a great opportunity here, make something happen. The shortcoming of William Byron has been restarts. Right here, he did not get a good restart, got himself in trouble, got put 3 wide, lost a ton of spots, went from the front row all the way back to about 10th position. So here he is today, right? Here you have a chance. Get that track position. Can you find a way to have the restart that you need, get in front of Clint Boyer?
And at 21 years old, the young man that will start on the inside of Clint Boyer, trying to get his first Monster Energy Cup Series win. Back into the restart zone, green flag back in the air, and the 14 slow to go.
Yeah, that was not a very organized restart. It'd be interesting to see how NASCAR views that. I think any kind of violation.
I think William slowed down to keep from passing him. I think William knew that NASCAR was going to make a call. I think he actually slowed down, and you saw the car behind him got into the back of him.
Created a mess behind him. Look at this. Joey Logano 3 wide. Does everybody know? Going down into turn 3. He lifts and backs off wisely.
4 wide behind them.
And William Byron still battling for the lead. Kurt Busch is going to really help Boyer. Huge push down the front straightaway.
Man, I'm so surprised by Kurt Busch. NASCAR is posting the 24, though, for a restart violation.
He started a restart violation, Chad.
Man, that's tough because that restart just didn't look very organized, but that's what that guy restart zone is, a wide, long zone. The leader can control that. NASCAR looked at it and made a decision. Let's take a look here. There's the line. Oh, the 24 kind of gassed it and maybe went a little too early. And then he tried to lift hard. Contact from behind the 10 car.
Yeah, he clearly started before Clint Bowyer did.
Clint didn't go till after the restart zone.
So let's just remind everybody of the rule. The rule is that the leader controls the race.
Yep.
As he enters the restart zone, he must fire first within that zone. Clint Bowyer can go as soon as he enters the zone, or he has the prerogative to wait all the way to the end. It looked to me like Clint Bowyer was waiting. He's pretty wise. As soon as he saw the 24 accelerate, he said, oh, no, I'm going to wait a little bit longer because I have 20 more feet. He waits those 20 more feet. That makes the 24 obvious. He accelerated first. It's a tough call, but I do think NASCAR got that one right. Clint Bowyer playing games with the young driver of William Byron, and it's going to cost him this penalty.
And we talked about William Byron needing better restart, so that's what it was, right? Needing to launch, needing a good restart. Just Clint did a very good job of not taking the bait and just holding back, being patient, and letting the 24 go before he did.
William and his team tried to stay on the track as long as they could to argue that call. They had to come down pit road.
As you can see, they were clearly in the restart zone. They had not reached the end of the restart zone before the 24 launched. Had he gotten to the end of the restart zone, then the flagman starts the race. But they did not get there before the 24 started.
And he teed it up perfectly, Jeff, showing that replay from Chicago and the issues he had there. And maybe that was in the back of his mind. And this is just a lesson learned for a guy like that. The more opportunities he has to restart on the front row, the more he's going to see these things and learn these lessons, be able to make these adjustments and changes.
Now can Clint Bowyer stay out in front of the one of Kurt Busch? Kelly.
So the team was telling Kyle Busch to look out for the 24 to drop, that he had that restart violation, and Kyle said, yeah, but it wasn't the 24's fault. The 14 of Clint Bowyer brake checked the whole field, so he thought it was on the 14. But then he went on to say, by the way, could someone please go ask the 22 why he feels the need to make it 3 wide going into 3 every time when there's no room. Just get behind me, push me, and let's get through this.
So as good as Kyle Busch has been, he's complaining a little bit.
Well, he's in third. He wants to be in first.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the guy that gets put 3 wide. You're wanting to be the one that's making 3 wide happen.
It's okay if you're doing it. You just don't want it done to you.
Well, we heard Kyle Busch's complaint about the speed of the 14. Well, let's put speed in right here. We're going to look at the 14 as he goes. 64, staying 64, 65. Does he slow down? He has to maintain that speed. All right, I hear what Kyle Busch is saying, but the data would say otherwise. Looks to me like he's maintaining pace car speed. That's all the tools that NASCAR uses. They can look at that speed as well. They're not judging by the eye if the 14 slowed down or not. They're just going to put up GPS. Technology's great when it works in your favor.
Yeah, you may not like the call, but they got it right. I mean, clearly with the speed indicators right there, NASCAR got that call right.
There you see William Byron trying to stay on the lead lap. He's got these guys coming behind him. Kurt Busch, man, is he running great tonight. Putting the pressure. Oh, he's got a little, he got him upset there. Is he on the quarter panel? He's alongside.
Here, man. You gotta be the man here. Inside. You and him.
That's a 14 spotter. That's Brett Griffin saying, come on, man, you got to be the man. Don't let him go.
For the lead, here comes the one.
It's a game of inches.
Didn't clear him.
Didn't clear him.
He didn't. Down the back straightaway.
And who's loving this is Kyle Busch behind him.
I'm loving this. This is awesome.
How about
Awesome
that?
racing.
Clint Bowyer was the man. He was able to hold off Kurt Busch.
Kurt's not done, though. Kurt's car turns better than Bowyer's car. Bowyer's tight in the middle of the corner. Doesn't rotate like he wants it to.
Good Lord. What is it about the second half of the season? These guys just start racing like crazy.
And that was 0.4 of a second that Kyle cut off of that lead on that one lap.
Kyle Busch and Joey Logano are get side by side. A couple more times. We're almost there.
How hungry is Clint Bowyer, though? He has slipped down to where he's in jeopardy of not making the playoffs. His last win was a year ago at Michigan, so it's been a long drought for that 14 team.
And we've seen, I mean, nobody celebrates like a Clint Bowyer celebration. I'm telling you, if he could win this race. And I don't think anyone is affected by momentum perhaps more. He's a lighthearted driver, but he wears his emotion on his sleeve. At times, I think it hurts him in the race car, but at times it propels him.
We go NASCAR nonstop from Kentucky. You won't miss a thing. You're watching the Quaker State 400 from Kentucky Speedway. 66 laps to go and counting. It's still Clint Bowyer that's out front. Kurt Busch running second, but Kyle Busch has been coming strong. And on Wednesday, Kyle Busch is going to be the special guest on Motor Mouth. So I bet he'll have a little bit to talk about.
So let me just make sure I understand this. The fans can call in and talk to Kyle Busch?
Oh, yeah. Take a look at this for the lead. Kurt Busch moving to the inside, trying to take that top spot away from Clint Bowyer.
Boy, Clint's going to fight him hard here. Can he stay on the? Oh, yeah, he's going to stay on that quarter panel. Man, Kurt just cannot complete the pass.
Clint's committed to that middle of the racetrack.
Oh, boy, that was so close right there.
But again, look at what this has done for the 18. Here comes Kyle Busch. Those two running side by side. 3 cars side by side for the lead.
Now, who do you block? If you're Bowyer, what do you do right here?
You block them both.
You block them both.
How do you do that?
You get your car really wide.
Around a lot.
Now the brothers fighting for second.
Clint Bowyer's looking back there, and he's thinking, man, good, give me a little relief.
And the other thing, you just saw the one car, he was able to hold his brother off by running that middle.
But they're catching some lap traffic here. And that 48 in front, is that going to cost us 14 on quarter exit?
Oh, he's got tight. He got really tight right there. The one's going to be able to drive underneath him. Now what happens when they get to the 48?
Big run by the one of Kurt Busch. Going into turn 1. Can he clear him?
Oh, he's there. 14's going to stay there. Clint's going to stay there.
Where's the 18 going? Who's the 18 going to try to push here? Not enough momentum to push either one, really.
Yeah, when they're side by side, it's even worse on that following car back there for the 18. The air's terrible on that car.
Next time, pit next time.
Oh, no, don't pit yet.
Higher.
How about Logano
Here goes
coming in
the
the fight?
14.
They're calling the 14 to pit road.
Yeah, they need to. He has the least amount of fuel of everybody, the 14.
He's going to have to get down right here.
I just don't want this to end.
Kurt Busch has taken away the top spot. That means now Clint Bowyer will be coming to pit road. Then the fight for third behind them, Logano and Kyle Busch.
And Eric Almirola also, he's in this pack.
So Clint's going to pit here, and the 22 is on the bottom line.
Saw his hand out the window, letting the other guys know he was coming to pit road. He comes to pit road. Can't make a mistake here if Clint Bowyer wants to win this race.
And Rick, that's exactly what Mike Bugaravich told us a moment ago, just told the crew, and just told Clint Bowyer. Steve made the point, they have less fuel than everybody else, but also as soon as the window opened to make it to the end of the race, Bugaravich wanted him on pit road. They played this game all day long, pitting early in the cycle versus everybody else. Bugaravich going to go with 4 fresh Goodyear tires. A little adjustment, not much, because Bowyer said the car's a little bit tight. Now they hope a caution doesn't come out. You see on the left-hand side of the screen, Kurt Busch still leading. We're seeing all the cycles out, but this should be the last stop of the day for Bowyer with 60 to go.
We're good to end the race.
Yep, you heard right there. Marty's absolutely right. Don't speed, execute. Now, guys, it's all about, I'm talking the most finite decisions. Clint Bowyer, how does he hit traffic? How does he pass lap cars? What does Kurt Busch do? There's going to be a gap between the 14 pit stop and the other leaders. We just saw you could put a blanket over the front 4 when the 14 peeled off. Well, in a few more laps, we'll see the other leaders pit, and all of those decisions between the two will perhaps decide the lead of this race.
It was about 12 laps, the difference between what we saw from Clint Bowyer and Kurt Busch as far as the last time they were on pit road. So that's the gap between those two as far as how long Kurt Busch can stay on the track.
Hey, let's update you guys on William Byron a little bit. Remember, he got penalized for that restart procedure, and he came out in front of everybody, and he has driven away from the front pack. He came out about a half a straightaway in front of him. He's way more than that ahead of him now. He has a fast race car. Don't think there's enough time to recover from it, and that's going to hurt their feelings even more in the junior when you made that mistake with a fast race car. Oh, it makes you feel horrible.
Leader Kurt Busch, he's drove away from Kyle and Logano. Put a good bit of distance on them as soon as he's able to get by that 14 car, Clint Bowyer, and take the lead. This one car, man. I know Kyle's been fast. The 22 of Logano's been quick at times, but Kurt Busch.
That tells me that Bowyer was holding this group up.
Yeah.
Bowyer had this entire group backed up to each other. Once he had to pit, everybody's gotten separated. Bowyer was holding the whole top 5 group up.
And we're going to wait on that cycle. Looking at Bowyer right here, he's a lap down. He's out there on the racetrack, ran a 30-32. Our leader Kurt Busch ran a 29.84. So Kurt Busch is actually lengthening that cycle. if he doesn't come to pit road, stays out there, run faster than Clint Bowyer. Clint Bowyer, who's been on pit road, isn't going to cycle in front of Kurt.
Well, not now, because you see right behind him is the 4 Kevin Harvick. They ran side by side for 2 laps. Clint Bowyer was probably like, buddy, you're my teammate. Can you please let me go? And right there, as he doesn't run next to the 14 or the 4 car, he picks up. He runs a 29.70, just like that. We talked about those little decisions. That killed the 14 of Clint Bowyer. When you pass a car, you got to dispose of them. You see right here a lap car with looking on board with Kevin Harvick, but that's Clint Bowyer out in the distance. You got to clear that guy and go.
Clint's got to hope that Kurt gets in lap traffic, that he gets held up at some point. You know, it can all be the same. Everybody's going to get held up, but it's all the little stuff that all matters.
I mean, right here, you're going to see, you know, Clint gets a run. He's doing what he needs to do, and he gets up next to the 4, and they just run side by side. The 4 doesn't let him go. I know Kevin Harvick is racing his own car. He doesn't know, but look at this, Junior. Look at this side draft right here. Yep.
Dave.
Kurt told his team, car's handling well, do what you got to do. You see the red can going into the left-hand side there in the rear, that's Sunoco fuel to get him to the end of this race. It'll take so much time, they'll go ahead and change all 4 tires and make sure the car is packed full of fuel. Kurt's had quite a week, guys. Just think how well he and his team handled last week's disappointment, now with a chance to win in Kentucky.
That's a great point, Dave. Last week, such an emotional decision to pit with Lightning. Well, there's the 1 leaving pit road, and we're going to come pick up the 14 right here. Remember, they were racing for position before the cycle started. Let's see, what kind of lap times did the 14 put up? Was it enough to outrun the 1? Who was better on and off pit road? We're going to see right here on the backstretch.
There's Kurt blending up off of turn 2.
Just in front of the 14. Can he stay there? The momentum with the 14.
These cars on his outside, you saw the 2 car. That hurt the 1 car a little bit, but not enough for Clint Bowyer to be able to get by him.
So there you have it. Those couple of laps of traffic and lap time lost for the 14. I mean, Kurt was in front of him when they came to pit road, so it's about evened out. The 14 was hoping to be able to gain a little bit of time coming to pit road early.
And Kyle Busch leading as we go NASCAR nonstop. Green flag pit stops have been cycling through. You've been watching them. Eric Jones, that team, very aggressive strategy call.
Yeah, Dave, it seems like they only put 2 tires. They had a great pit stop and ended up being in front of Kurt Busch on the racetrack.
Yep, they believe, though, that the amount of fuel they had to put in based on what was already in the car should be enough to get them to the end. You'll see how quick the stop is here with only the 2 right side tires.
So let's just be clear. We talk about pit stops, pit strategies. They came later in the race than Clint Bowyer a stop ago. Clint Bowyer needed basically a full tank of fuel. Erik Jones did not. Therefore, the crew chief, wise, I like this, making the decision. We're only going to put rights on because we only need X amount of seconds, a shorter pit stop. Give this young man some track position. Certainly at the moment, Kyle Busch, Logano, all still leading the race. I don't want to take anything away from them, but they all have to come to pit road. The 20 of Erik Jones is currently the leading car of cars who have made their pit stop.
And Steve, the 20 right now, the 18 and the 22, they're both watching what the 20 is doing. What is his lap time? Because they may want to do the same thing. If it's working for the 20, then they also can make that call to get 2 tires to try to stay in front of that 20.
And Kyle Busch stays on the racetrack because he has Jones a lap down. So, you know, why Jones would cycle the leader, that's assuming the 18 pits. So, I mean, one caution could change everything right here.
And without a ton of tire fall off, why not stay out? Marty.
Also in the mix for top 10, Eric Almirola there, who was on Motor Mouse with us this past Wednesday, said he gave Stewart Haas an A- of the recovery after not having much speed early in the season. And you see the track position they gained. 4 fresh Goodyear tires was the call for him, and he's right on the tail of his teammate Clint Bowyer, so they gained a little track position as well.
So really, the question I have now is Kyle Busch. He needs
back up. Keep on digging.
the least amount of fuel we're showing you, the 24. Because, Jeff, what happened on the front stretch there? I mean, he was up the racetrack.
A lot happened.
Thought we were going to get the yellow.
Junior and I that came out of the booth over here. See the tire rub on the 24.
Yeah, a little contact on the left rear here going down the front straightaway.
Yeah, guys, he just came across the radio, and the spotter said he got shoved up in there, and then William was not happy. Here we go, replay. Looks like that's a 17 in front. Oh, wow.
That was a 19, yeah, by 19 at Truex.
Boy, that's a heck of a save.
You're all clear. All clear.
So here, look, here's what's going on. Erik Jones is running 2980s, okay? He's out there. He's got pretty clean air. He's been pretty much by himself since he came out. Kyle Busch is running 30 flats, 30 10s. Kyle can't afford to go real long here, can he, Steve?
No, but he needs even less fuel than Erik Jones. So is Adam Stevens possibly thinking gas only? The shortest stop possible? I mean, we saw the 20 risk it with 2 tires. I don't think you could take no tires, but we're going to have to see.
But, Steve, he can do the math, can't he?
Well,
because he comes so late, he's done the math.
Out.
He's on pit road. Kelly.
All right, so once again, Kyle Busch giving up the lead. The team reminding him not to speed, do nothing special here on pit road. We're calling for right side tires, right side Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Kelly, this is amazing. These are the 2 drivers battling for the regular season championship head-to-head here on pit road. Kyle Busch went right side. Todd Gordon made the call for Joey Logano to go right side only, and he made that call before they came to pit road. It's going to be tight off of pit road between those 2 guys, but Kyle Busch with the advantage. Now let's see where they cycle out with everybody else.
This is who matters right here. Erik Jones and the 20 on the racetrack. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch leaving pit road. You're going to see them all on the backstretch. What kind of blend are we going to have?
Here comes the 20.
Oh, they're not. They're going to come out in front of Erik Jones. A great pit stop by the 18 and the 22.
There's Erik Jones down to the bottom of the racetrack. Denny Hamlin now the race leader as these pit stops continue to cycle through. Hamlin, Larson, Truex Jr., Newman.
So not to be lost in all this, we were covering this like this was the race because we know it is if it cycles. Let's not lose that word if. If it cycles, a caution changes everything. You hear right there, too tight. The reason I say a caution changes everything because Denny Hamlin, guys, he's the leader. He's on the racetrack, and he currently has both Kyle Busch and Logano a lap down. A yellow changes everything.
Denny Hamlin would be happy to see one. Kyle Busch doesn't want one. Parker.
It's 42 of Kyle Larson is on pit road. Last pitted on lap 163. I believe this will just be right side tires. Try and keep up those Joe Gibbs cars. It is.
You see right here, there's the 18 and the 22, and just ahead of them is that 11 car, Steve, that you were talking about.
11, well, he gambled. Remember, he won the Daytona 500, right? He's gambling. He'll throw the dice. Can he take gas only somehow to try to leapfrog the 18? 37 laps to go. What a race. I mean, what a great job by the Speedway, all the track prep they did, this rules package. It's been breathtaking. Parker?
Martin Truex Jr. is on pit road. It's just going to be right side tires here. He struggled all night. There he goes to right sides.
Steve, you mentioned the track. Mark Simmendinger, the track president here. We talked about all of the fun places for the fans to experience this. Now the 11 is on pit road. Kelly.
And Rick, crew chief Chris Gabehart told Denny, do not slide him. So I expect this to be a fuel-only stop. You see the adjustment there, and they wait to finish the Sunoco fuel. And a fuel only for Denny Hamlin.
Kelly, that seemed, I don't know, my internal clock was wanting him to go. Now we'll just see with 36 laps to go. Will Denny Hamlin somehow cycle out? I don't think it's going to be close to the 18, though. Look at the 18 at speed on the racetrack. They just had too big of a lead. So really, guys, it's the 18 and the 22 behind them. That race, as they work through lap traffic, is going to be the race for the win.
Martin Truex Jr., the 19, too fast exiting on pit road, so he'll have to serve the penalty. Newman now is up front. Suarez and Menard, again, still having to cycle through these pit stops. Parker.
And guys, you see the 6 there, Ryan Newman. He last pitted on lap 180. I expect if this cycles all the way through, he'll have to do hopefully a fuel-only stop or just 2 tires. But also there's debris in the Geico restart zone that some of the drivers are talking about, Marty, and they're hoping for a caution.
Hey, Parker, what was the word the guys in the booth used? If it cycles out, right, Steve? Well, Daniel Suarez pitted at lap 181. I just checked in with Billy Scott and said, how much further can you go? He said 20 more laps. So they can go until about 15 to go for this 41. The guy who sat on the pole, if the caution comes out now, Daniel Suarez sitting pretty.
Right now, Suarez chasing after Newman as far as on the scoreboard. Newman still leading because we go NASCAR nonstop. .28 laps to go. Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Kentucky. Telecast presented by Toyota. We continue to watch Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, because the 7 cars in front of them have to pit in about 5 laps. As we look at the Mountain Dew lap leaders, Kyle Busch 72, Suarez 49, Clint Bowyer 40. The one name you don't see on here, the 22 of Joey Logano. He's right in the mix, though, for the win here tonight.
He is right in the mix. And Junior, watching this 22 chase this 18 is great.
I was going to say he had some great speed. He's been able to kind of match Kyle, and I think the one thing he can hope for maybe is Kyle to have more trouble in traffic. Both of them had issues getting through lap traffic, but he's hoping that maybe Kyle will find more problems. He's moved around, and his car's fast in his high groove. He runs the bottom when he needs to. Wherever Kyle goes, he goes the opposite place to get some clean air.
We'll be able to stay with you as long as we stay green flag racing all the way to the end, Marty.
Hey, Rick Jr. talking about Joey Logano moving around the racetrack. He has said several times the PJ1 is completely gone, and he said, I'm having to kind of reinvent what I'm doing out here. So, Junior, as that sticky stuff wears off the racetrack, what do you have to do as a driver to move around and find grip wherever you might be able to get it?
Yeah, we talked to Cole Custer, and he said that it definitely moved around on him last night in the Xfinity race, and you just have to chase after it. It's going to move up the racetrack. It's going to wear out on that bottom edge of it. But look at Joey. He's not even needing to run in that stuff. As this track cools down, gets cool at night, that bottom groove really, becomes just as preferred almost.
Those last 2 laps, Joey Logano was much faster than the 18. That lap there, he was a 10th faster.
And 18's moved to the top of the racetrack in turn 1 and 2 to try to find that speed that Joey's found. Moving around, he's getting information from his spotter. He's looking in the mirror, watching where Joey's running.
Lap before last, this was the end of the racetrack that Joey just destroyed Kyle right there, right in the middle of the corner. No question he's better right there.
Right, so Kyle comes off the corner, looks in the mirror, and sees that 22 is closer and goes, hey, what is he doing there? What is he doing that's beating me through that corner that I could try?
Just like Joey's car turns better through there.
So now Joey is faced with the issue of running in the tracks of that 18 in the middle of 1 and 2. Does he move to the bottom? Does he change his line? Because he's going to have to. He's not going to catch that car running the same exact line. Look here. Kyle to the bottom, trying to get out of the wake of the 4 car.
That was an advantage, huge advantage to Joey right there. Harvick is not running very well at all. You saw him on pit road earlier working on their car, but he is really struggling.
This is exactly what Joey's hoping for, is for Kyle to have some issues with some lap traffic. It's brought Joey closer.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's forward position, but without a pit stop yet to be had, he's going to pull over and let the 18 have the top of the racetrack.
It was 0.4 of a second. The gap now between the 18 and 22 down to 0.2 of a second, Parker.
Guys, the 6 of Ryan Newman just came across the radio and said, I'm coming to you. I just ran out of fuel. So they're pushing this as far as you can go. Although it looks like he's still got it there. He's probably going to try to get to the bottom and come down pit road. They've pushed this strategy as far as they possibly can. They'll most likely do 2 tires here and get that thing full of fuel.
That leaves Daniel Suarez on the racetrack to take the lead. Matty D is still on the track as well. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano here.
Kyle Busch went to the bottom of the racetrack, gave Joey what he wanted, gave him the top. Look at the run Joey's got.
Boy.
Here comes Logano. He looks to the inside. This is for the lead. As soon as the green flag pit stop cycle, boom! He came down to try to block. Logano takes the spot away.
The crossover move.
But that's okay for Joey. Joey's okay with that as long as he can stay side by side with him. Look at it, side draft down the back straightaway.
He's not giving up. Kyle Busch fighting once again on the inside.
Joey has a line he wants, so that's where he wants to be on the outside. That slide job, that's what that was. He overdrove the corner, slid in front of the 18, and the 18 was able to get back to him, but Joey had what he wanted. He had the outside of him, even though it let Kyle get next to him.
And you hear the radio, the 18 car, he's getting tight, and you could see it. The car just not turning. Joey taking advantage of that.
Joey's been so much faster, rotating the middle of the corner the last 7 or 8 laps.
This is for 2nd and 3rd place.
Well,
Daniel Suarez is on pit road.
Yep, it's for the lead now, and Logano will take the lead away as soon as they go across the start-finish line, which they do now. Joey Logano leading at Kentucky.
And driving away, he ran a 94, 29.94. Kyle Busch is 30.26.
So check this exchange out. Kyle Busch's car is just not as good as he needs it to be. They're huge side draft right here. Watch Joey Logano. He goes below the yellow line, entering the corner, had to get back on the racetrack. Then he overdrives the corner, slides in front of the 18. Look at this. Look at this. Just crazy how far down on the racetrack they are, Junior.
Yeah, Kyle knew he had to stay on that quarter panel to try to side draft, so he had to get aggressive and go down the racetrack. Then down the back straightaway. Even more side drafting. These guys just giving their best.
Defending series champion Joey Logano out in front now. He has an 0.8 of a second lead over Kyle Busch.
It's ridiculous. These guys are driving like it's the rental go-kart place at 185 miles an hour. I mean, this is what it looks like when you go rent a go-kart for $5. These guys are going almost 200.
They're not going to kick them out, are they?
No.
That's what happens when I do that.
I
You kick me out.
Yeah, the officials are pointing at him. Don't make contact. Don't make contact.
Battle for fourth here, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch battling back after that 4-tire stop, trying to make up time. Easily takes that spot away.
So now, you know, so put yourself in Kurt Busch. Those 4 tires, still 17 to go. If the caution comes out, these leaders aren't going to pit. He'll have fresh tires. Might be able to do it on a restart, Kelly.
All right, so you guys guessed it. Kyle Busch not totally happy with that 18 car. Here's what he said as soon as Joey Logano in that 22 got around him.
I'm plowing, dude. You didn't touch this thing and free it up. He's on the same broke down that we are. Strap it up and get after it. Theirs runs better with left sides not on it than ours.
So I don't know, I guess call that a little bit of a pep talk there by crew chief Adam Stevens, and the team keeps reminding him a lot of lap traffic ahead. Don't give up.
Keep him in sight.
One thing I'll say about Adam Stevens, he doesn't back down. You know, and I'm sure that Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens, right? We're fortunate enough to listen into that private conversation on the radio, but they believe in one another. Their numbers together are unbelievable. He knows Kyle's frustrated. I've never worked with Kyle. I don't know what fires Kyle up. All Adam does sounds like it almost sounded like a Chad Knaus, Jimmie Johnson conversation. Felt like I was listening 5 years ago.
You got to hand it to this Joey Logano team. They were really fast at the start of this race, driving through the top 10. Got a little off in the middle of the race, but they found it in this race car, and Joey's found it. He's moved around and found the line that's comfortable and fast.
And I understand Kyle's frustration because he is much slower right now at this time of the race than he's been all night long. He's running 30-20s. He's been running 29-90s. The changes to his car just did not work. Marty.
And Jeff, and I agree with what Junior's saying. Tip of the cap to Todd Gordon and Joey Logano for the night they went through. So fast in the beginning part of the race. Remember they had that tire, came apart, they went down a lap, and then Todd Gordon rallied him back. And remember what Joey Logano said before the last stop. He told Todd Gordon several times, the PJ1 is gone. I'm going to need help. I'm having to change what I'm doing out here. Joey Logano, Todd Gordon both doing a masterful job. 13 to go away from the win here at Kentucky.
Ryan Blaney having a little bit of issue here. Trying to get around the outside of Paul Menard. Paul gives him plenty of room. Ryan is chasing that right rear up the racetrack.
Did he ever hit it?
I don't know.
That's a great drive right there.
Maybe kissed it.
Yeah. The air coming off the right front at 21, pounding the nose of that 12 car, making that car really loose, putting the aero shift to the front.
Right in front of that battle you just showed between those two cars is the 41 of Daniel Suarez, back to 9th. I'm going to tell you, this isn't the win that I think Daniel Suarez was hoping for, but things didn't go right. They maybe didn't make the best pit decisions. Daniel got caught speeding. Everybody had their hand in not having the best night, but look at the recovery. They're right there, 5 points out in 18th. I'm telling you, you got to run up front, guys, right? You got to run up front and learn what it's like to run up front, make mistakes. It might not be the night they want, Marty, but I think the 41 is going to look back and say they learned a lot. They'll be ready next time when they have a car that's good.
Well, it's certainly much better than what it could have been, right? And it was really a pit call that kind of got them behind, but a pit call that kind of got them back into the game. Billy Scott going fuel only. You saw that a few moments ago. 3 seconds of fuel, so Billy Scott got them where they needed. And yes, they showed the speed tonight, Steve, that they can take forward.
Yeah, and listen, with 10 to go, still restarts, anything can happen. I don't want to make it sound like it's over, but the fact that he's even inside the top 10, very impressive.
We mentioned 10 to go. We're here with you until 11:30 for post-race coverage. This race has gone very quickly.
And
Joey Logano.
Joey's out front here, and he's got a great lead. 1.79 seconds on Kyle Busch, but the last 3 laps, Kyle Busch has ran faster, 2 to 4 tenths faster the last few laps. For some reason, Joey may be backing off a little bit, trying to save that right front. Either that or Kyle's found something and he's running him down. See if that trend continues.
Still slow.
Yeah, another 2 tenths faster for Kyle Busch that lap.
And guys, when I look out on the horizon out in front of that 22, I see some traffic. Just what, maybe 20, 25 car lengths out, I'm sure. The pace he's going, don't you think he'll catch those guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to make something out of nothing, but 4 laps in a row, Kyle Busch has chopped that lead down quite a bit. Still a long ways to go before he catches Joe Logano at 8 laps.
I bet something like Kyle Busch. See that car getting closer.
30 flat that run, so he picked up 0.3 of a second in that lap.
Joey.
Yeah, Joey did. So he was managing.
Increased his lead by 1/10 of a second over Kyle Busch. So Logano now has a 1.6-second lead over Kyle Busch. Running up in the top 3, Erik Jones in 3rd. Kurt Busch is 4th. Denny Hamlin in 5th. Get a few updates. Dave.
Rick wanted to give you a quick update on Erik Jones. Ever since that last pit
caution's
stop,
out.
in trouble.
The 43 of Bubba around.
He's blown a right rear tire on that car.
6 laps to go, and the caution comes out. A restart coming up.
Coming off turn 2 here. Dang, he's lucky to. If he blew a right rear tire, he is lucky not to hit anything.
Steve, who's the better restarter here as far as Logano or Kyle Busch as we look at this replay?
Loose.
He's around early in the corner. Did a good job not having the wheels too far to the right, but having them far enough to the right not to hit this inside wall too hard.
He must have felt that tire going down. There's something going into. Yeah, watch here. Yeah, he feels it right there. The tire comes apart on the straightaway. Lucky for him, he's able to slow it down and keep it out of the fence. Well, that's really, really good driving. I mean, surprised you blow a right rear tire. You usually wad them things up.
And this is set up.
He makes it to pit road. All right, Steve, you see Adam Steve is chewing his gum a little quicker.
So I don't see any way that the front 2, 3, 4, even 5 can come to pit road. It's going to be a restart inside of 5 to go. But someone's going to come. And while tires haven't meant a ton, let's be clear. You could do more than just put fresh tires on in this short of a run. You could blow those air pressures up. We always say, hey, what do you change qualifying? How do they go so fast? Well, you put tape on the grill. You could do that. You know you only have to run a few more laps, add a little bit of tape, increase that air pressure, that fire-off speed. Dale Jr., you'd like that fire-off speed when you get to turn 1.
And Steve, you talked about it before the caution came out. Kurt Busch is in 4th place. That was, if I'm Kurt Busch with 4 tires and I've got to start on the outside of the row 2, I'm pretty happy.
Oh, yeah.
That is the row to be in. If you can't be on the front row, the outside of the row 2, he's going to have a chance to get real aggressive. If he can, try to jump on the outside quarter panel of that leader, Kyle Busch, going into 1 and 2.
First, let's see if anybody takes a left-hand turn. I think pit road's closed.
Yep.
I'm amped up. I want to see the decisions, Rick. I'm ready. Open that thing up. So listen, let's get the run in order. Logano, Kyle Busch, Erik Jones, Kurt Busch. You just mentioned Kurt Busch. They're not coming to pit road. I would be shocked if they did. You know, Hamlin's had a decent run. Larson up in 6th, but someone in the middle of this field is going to come to pit road. Let's listen into what the 20's thinking.
I think the call here is southwest. Just FYI, that's the best deal. I'm with you. I think it is too. Save me fuel. We're only probably good for 1 here. 1.
Well, I didn't know what Southwest was, but then when he said save me fuel, that kind of, it was like I had the quarterback tackled and I looked at his play. That tells me he's staying on the racetrack because you're not going to save fuel if you're coming to pit road. You put a little fuel in it. So you know the 20's staying out. That's going to keep the 1 out. The question is, who's it going to be, Jeff? It's going to be Almirola in 7th, Bowyer in 8th, Suarez in 9th. There are, 15 cars on the lead lap. Someone's going to peel off. It's not going to be at the front, but if it was me and I'm, say, Menard back there in 11th, even Newman in 10th, I think I have to come to pit road. Don't you think, Junior?
Yeah, I would come to restarts and be aggressive if I'm that far back.
I think the call gets really difficult from 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th back. You don't want to be the first car with no tires, right?
Yeah, that, and you don't want to be on the inside that far back. That is not going to be a lane you're going to want to be in. You're going to want to have that opportunity to jump to that outside line, get on the outside of these guys and make some moves. If you're on the inside, you kind of get boxed in down in the middle of 1 and 2.
No takers, no takers. So if you think the inside's going to be where it's at, how about Suarez? He's coming up. He'd be on the inside. Is he going to be the first car? You called it, Dale Jr. First car that's going to start at the bottom of Suarez. They don't want to be there. They're going to come down here. That 41 car, the pole sitter, been fast all night, getting 4 fresh Goodyear tires, or at least 2. Marty.
Yeah, if you're Billy Scott at this point, why not come on down pit road? So they're going to come down pit road here and, yeah, take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, see what they can do. Also give Daniel an adjustment. To your point, Steve, he's been talking about the car chattering all evening long, and also it's gotten so much cooler here, they've kept adding tape all night long to that 41 as well. So the Goodyear tires, they hope, might help a little bit, and those adjustments might help even more.
See at the top of the screen, it's going to be overtime. 267 laps was the scheduled distance for this race, but they're going to have to plan for maybe a lap or 2 more. And of course, when it comes to overtime, there's no guarantee that it's one time at it too, because as aggressive as these drivers have been all night long, they can be even more aggressive knowing that it's coming down to the win.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen 3 and 4 wide on all of these restarts. Now it's going to be, you know, the whole race. It's come down to how well you accelerate, how well you get through 1 and 2. And then you mentioned it. What if we have multiple overtimes? We heard Eric Jones' radio. I think we're only good for 1. So then if we have an extra caution, guys are going to start getting close on fuel. But what a race we have seen. It has been unbelievable battle all night long. Why not have a shootout?
All right, Burton Jr., does Logano have an advantage? Does Kyle Busch have an advantage on this restart?
I don't know if I can pick one that has the most advantage, but this might be the restart that's the most pressure-packed restart all season long. You're going to have to be mean on this restart. You're going to have to be willing to do whatever it takes. Guys are going to be on your court. You know they're going to be drafting, side drafting like crazy down in turn 1 and 2, all the way down the back straightaway. We're going to see 3 and 4 wide, maybe even for the lead. It's whatever you can do to try to separate yourself from those other guys.
Yeah, and clearly the focus is going to be to win the race, right? But back in the field, we just saw Suarez. We just saw Boyer not pit. Suarez did pit. We've shown those guys how close they are in points. So even for those guys that may not have a shot to win, this could be the difference in them making the playoffs or not. So the pressure is spread out all the way through this field on this restart. It will be 3 wide getting into 1. The question is, who's going to be the one that makes it 3 wide, who has a good restart, who has a bad restart? I love Logano's position. He's got the fastest car, starting on the outside, but he's got to beat Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch is one of the very best on restarts.
Absolutely. We've seen some fun ones tonight, so let's take a look at some of them. Pretty wild action. We're going to see the even wilder action than that going to these restarts, but going to this last restart. But here you go. Side draft about a 14 of right there, 3 wide to 10. Eric Almirola puts the 1 of Kurt Busch in the middle.
And how about this on the front straightaway? 3 wide. This front straightaway just gives you an option. It gives you a place to go. You see Kyle Busch pushing the issue right there. And we saw games being played by the 14 on the launch. Don't think for 1 second that this launch doesn't matter. You got 2 of the very best, though, in Joey Logano and Kyle Busch.
And we saw Joey Logano and Kyle Busch battling hard for the lead, driving each other, chasing each other all the way down across the apron, even on the back straightaway. I think we're going to see exactly just that, but the whole field's going to be involved.
All right, guys, next weekend, I'm actually letting you guys take over next weekend. NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series will move to the short track of the Magic Mile. That race coverage, which will be the race team race coverage from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, next Sunday starts at 3 p.m. Eastern. Kelly.
All right, so you guys just called Kyle Busch one of the best restarters out there. Adam Stevens, how do you like his chances on a 2-lap shootout?
I tell you, I don't know. The handling really seemed to go away there with laps on tires, and got a lot of laps on our left sides, as does the 22. But his car's a little better than ours right now, and to be honest, I'm worried about that 1 car that's got 4 on it from the previous stop. So this is going to get wild.
All right, thanks. Can't wait. Marty?
Kelly, when Todd Gordon and I talked about 2 p.m. this afternoon, he said, we're really good on long runs. How do you feel about it on a 2-lap shootout here?
I feel great about it. I got Joey driving it. Car's got a lot of speed. We're in the tires here for both of us, and I think we'll see what happens, but I feel good about it.
If we go more than 1 overtime, you okay on fuel or worried about that?
Not at all. Not at all. We got plenty.
There you go, Todd Gordon, not worried and confident in his driver. And I agree with you, Jeff. This is going to be a fantastic restart with 2 of the best in the business.
Jeff, you heard Adam Stevens mention the 1. Well, he's going to line up behind the leader. That top lane should roll.
And those front guys, those front 2 cars are going to slow each other down. If they stay side by side down into turn 1, they are going to side draft and slow each other down, giving that second row and everyone behind them an opportunity to run.
Watch Eric Jones in that 20 car. Can he lay back and get a launch on the 18, get underneath him, make it 3 wide?
Logano has chosen the outside line. Kyle Busch on the inside. Green flag back in the air. Overtime presented by Credit One Bank. Look at how hard the 18 is going into turn 1.
Kurt Busch to the outside.
Kyle Busch gets the lead. Here comes the 20 of Eric Jones. Jones on the inside. He'll try to take the lead as they go down the backstretch.
Kyle side drafted his brother Kurt. That could be all Jones needs. Can he? Oh, look at Kyle Busch drive it down into turn 3.
Can he hold it? 4 wide and into the wall.
Down
That
the
was
front
Chase
straightaway.
Elliott. Side by side, here comes Kurt Busch. He takes the lead away from his brother. But now, Kyle Busch fighting back. Contact made as they go into 1. The Busch brothers, side by side. Tire rub by Kurt Busch. Kyle Busch now fighting on the inside. Once again, Kurt Busch making that outside line work.
What does Jones do here if these two get together?
Coming out of turn 4. Kurt Busch with the advantage. Kyle Busch slides. Kurt Busch will win.
What a finish! Unreal.
That was awesome.
Hey, think about this team. Think about what happened to that team last week. Sitting there leading the race, pitted, lightning came out, then they come back this week and win the race. That is redemption.
And remember, it wasn't many races back when Kurt Busch was trying to catch his brother, and he said, if I caught him, I would have wrecked him for the win. Well, right there, those two fought as cleanly as you could fight for a win. What an incredible battle we just saw between Kurt and Kyle.
Those two had an awesome battle at Bristol earlier this year. I love it when it comes down to those two. They know each other better than anybody.
I was terrified for Kurt that left rear tire had gotten cut when they made contact with wanting to go. A lot of smoke off the left rear quarter panel.
This victory fueled by Sunoco. Fuel your best. And that was one incredible finish.
You mentioned a week ago the loss for the 1 at Daytona, the chance to win it. Matt McCall made the call to pit last week. He got on social media, he made fun of it. He said, I'm going to do better. Well, his call tonight to put 4 tires on that 1 car in the green flag pit stop, I think, is the difference maker. Giving Kurt Busch the tires to show how great he is. Matt McCall, first win. Congratulations on top of the pit box.
Kurt Busch made the move to Chip Ganassi Racing. Every team he's been a part of, he's made better. And look at the jubilation in that team. Yeah, he'll do a dive right into his team.
You mentioned Matt McCall. That's Matt McCall on the right side of the screen right there, the center of the screen. His first win as a crew chief. He's a great short track driver himself.
What a fight to the finish, and I'm sure Chevrolet is happy to see this. Their first win here at Kentucky.
That's how you want to win them, isn't it?
Man, that was a battle.
Marty.
What an incredible scene. Kurt Busch absolutely exhausted. I'm not sure if that's from the win or from the celebration or the battle to get the win. Wow. Kurt, walk me through that final restart and passing your brother for the win.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
And the fans like that, Kurt.
You know, racing your little brother every week and watching him win a lot. I'm proud of him, but I'm proud of him. He gave me a little bit of room on that outside. He could have clobbered us against the wall, and third place probably would have got it. What an awesome run. We got this monster Chevy victory lane. Thank you, Kentucky.
Hey, so is this redemption for last week? I know you were so mad when all that went down with the lightning of all things that cost you the win. A little redemption for this team?
Well, we got a yellow at the end that put us back in position. So whatever last week was, it's this week right now. We got the trophy. Woo!
How about for your crew chief, Matt McCall, his first ever win for him?
A lot of good first wins with this group of guys. I'm really proud of them. You know, the way that we came together early and had speed, we just weren't completing all the little steps that it took to be a winner in the Monster Energy Cup Series. Now they're all winners.
There you go. I think the fans enjoyed it, Kurt. Go celebrate with your race team and celebrate a big win at Kentucky. Kurt Busch fans, he's your winner here, Kelly.
And younger brother Kyle on the wrong end of that thrilling finish. Kurt said he's tired of watching you win week in, week out. He also thanked you for giving him a little bit of room there, not putting him in the wall. What was the finish of that race like for you?
Glad it was a thriller. You know, just unfortunately we were on the wrong end of the deal for everybody at M&M's and Toyota. You know, Interstate Batteries, all the folks that get us to where we're at. But congratulations to Kurt and Chip and Monster, all the guys over there. It's obviously cool to put on great races and great finishes, and been a part of a lot of them, and not very many. In fact, none with my brother like that, so that was a first. But, you know, no hard feelings. We'll move on.
When I talked to your crew chief, Adam Stevens, just before that overtime finish, he said he was worried about the one car because they had those 4 fresh tires. How big of a difference do you think that made?
Yeah, I didn't know that they had 4 tires, so I guess that probably had some of the difference. I knew I cleared them into 3, and if I just stayed in the gas, I was never going to make the exit. I was going to plow the fence, but maybe I should have just gotten in front of him and messed up his air. So easy to do with these cars. It's pretty much just air games. So I missed my chance over there, I guess, and that's about all I could really have done different.
All right, a Busch Brothers 1-2 finish here in Kentucky, Rick.
I tell you guys, this was an incredible last 2 laps.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, man. Kurt Busch did everything he could to get on the outside here and stay on that quarter panel. And the beating and banging and the fact that those cars held up, the tires held up. Kyle knew he had to. Kyle knew the only way he could keep that one car from passing him was to side draft as hard as he possibly could, especially on corner exit here.
And Kurt just wasn't having it. Kurt got that left front fender to his right rear quarter panel, slowed him down. And right here, you know Kyle's going to drive it deep in the corner. Right there, Kyle possibly could have driven up in front of him, but knew it would have been a wreck if he had of. Contact. Both kept it under control. Eric Jones back there saying, "Ref."
It's 2 of the best, man. I mean, really, this is 2 of the best that we've had in our sport. Giving us their best, giving us the best show I think I've ever seen at Kentucky.
Just great racing. 2 guys, just so much will to win. That's crazy. Great stuff.
I'm telling you, and I'm not sure, as great as the battle was for the lead, every time we look in the distance, they're 2 and 3 and 4 wide in the pack. That last restart was unreal. Kurt Busch, that's how you take a win. Take a win away from his brother.
Fantastic finish. Kurt Busch wins for the first time this year. We're reminded just a week ago how close Kurt Busch was to getting the win. When they were told 1 to go, he knew he needed to come back to pit road. And when he did, the lightning struck. And then he was in a bad position not to win at Daytona. Tonight, lightning would not strike twice. Kurt Busch would not be denied this win as he dove right into the hands of his team. And now he's going to celebrate with them in victory lane, Dave.
Here comes Kurt Busch out of the car, and there is about to be a monster of a celebration. Ashley moving into the picture there. Nice Christmas card photo for a husband and wife there. Kurt, this is this week, last week is last week. You've moved on and you're now a winner and headed to the playoffs. How's that feel?
It's awesome. I mean, just to get back to victory lane for the first time with a new team, it means the world to me. But with all these guys, there's so many that got their first win tonight, and they put me in position. A fast car, we had lap time, and we got a nice lucky break to get a shot at it with that yellow at the end. And it takes teamwork all the way through, and thanks to Chevrolet, Monster Energy, with Gear Wrench, with Global Poker, these guys are winners, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
You mentioned the last win, that was Bristol last summer. You remember it, 30 races ago. How does this time period, what are you processing during this time, and the new team?
Well, it's just a matter of getting the new team up to speed, so to speak, with all the right ingredients. I mean, you got a pit crew, engines, aero, side force. We got to make mistakes to learn from those lessons. We got guys like this right here, Chip Ganassi. You're in victory lane, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you. I told you we'd make these guys winners. I'll call you back. But no, thank you to everybody on this team back at the shop that works on this car and makes it the winning car that it is. We're going to have those days where things don't go right today. things went right, and my little brother gave me just enough room. It was like, you gonna lift? I ain't gonna lift. You gonna lift? I ain't gonna lift. And we had a duel. We had a duel going down through 3 and 4, and I didn't know who was going to come out on top.
And Matt, you're a racer yourself, so what was that like watching these two duel it out on that last lap?
Badass. That's the easiest way to put it. Two racers getting after it, and old man here figured it out.
Your first time in victory lane as a crew chief, my friend. This feeling?
Yes, sir. And this is what you work every day for. A lot of hours, but got a wheel man now.
Are you going to answer the good tweets this week?
No, it'll be too easy this week, right? I mean, well, if we would have ran fourth, it wouldn't have been easy. It'd have been easy to answer those. We're past all that now. We'll move on. He made up for it today.
Just so you know, everyone, this is Matt McCall, and he still works for Chip Ganassi Racing. Kurt Busch in victory lane.
Yes, sir. Awesome.
All smiles for the one team. Let's look at the playoff standings. After this win, Kurt Busch becomes the 8th different winner now to win on the 2019 season, locking himself into the playoffs. You mentioned how the 16th, 17th, 18th, those spots starting to get a little bit tighter.
And the performance is being ramped up. Daniel Suarez 4 out. He ran 8th tonight. Newman ran 9th. I mean, these guys, Eric Jones ran 3rd. You guys keep talking about it, right? You get to this point in the season and the pressure builds. They all seem to find a way to get just a little bit better some of these races.
And remember, Joey Logano started on the front row on that restart for the overtime. Joey Logano fell all the way back to 7th. He's with Martin.
Logano, but it was so much more tonight. Walk me through that final restart. It looked like you were in the perfect position to win the thing.
I don't know if there's a perfect position when the caution came out, but I don't know. I just doing what I can do to try to clear the 18 before I got to turn 1, and I had a decent launch, and then just he just got me in the left rear and stopped my momentum. And then at that point, I had to make a choice: do I get down in the 18's door and stop him, or do I was watching the 1 and felt like if I go to block the 1, he's going to go to the middle. So it's kind of, I don't know where to go. It's getting stopped. So just I don't know. Just didn't do a good enough job.
A frustrating end, but you told me you would learn some things tonight. You guys clearly showed a ton of speed. What's the takeaway?
Yeah, we had the fastest car and we didn't win. That's the takeaway.
There you go. Joey Logano winds up 7th.
And in these races, there is always somebody that has to be frustrated. And Joey Logano frustrated. He was on the front row on that restart. Doesn't end up finishing anywhere near the top 5. He was 7th, so a disappointing finish for him. But you have Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch putting on one of the most incredible shows here at Kentucky.
A great show, a great story after last week at Daytona. You saw Matt McCall. He tried to play it off, but I could hear the emotion coming in. I've been there. I've been the guy that's judged for making a poor pit decision. He played it off all week. His owner, his team, everyone supported him, and he came back, bounced back by giving Kurt Busch the chance. Make no mistake, Kurt Busch pulled that restart off, but as a crew chief, your job is to deliver that opportunity. He did it, and Kurt Busch executed. I mean, what a race. In Kentucky, we've seen some races here that we weren't so sure about. Anything but tonight, that was breathtaking.
And Rut and Kyle, I will just tell you guys, be ready for the phone calls on Motor Mouse on Wednesday. Kyle Busch will be the guest, and I'm sure it's going to be very interesting, that show on Wednesday. All right, Burton Jr., how about that for a fantastic finish?
I don't know if we can ask for much more. I mean, from the time they dropped the green flag to the checkered flag fell, saw great racing all night. You know, handling mattered. We saw Kyle. I thought Kyle was done. Kyle was falling way back. He was 2 or 3 tenths a lap slower than Joey Logano was at the end of that race. So he found a way to put himself in position to try to get that win. Great battle.
Yeah, being a big boxing fan, that was as good as any final round of a heavyweight match. And the best part about it is riding the car to victory lane, man. And we're right next to the NASCAR booth, and I saw all those guys in there kind of chuckling. But if they get a fine, don't worry. Jeff is going to pay that fine. All right? Jeff's going to pay all of that.
Hey, I'm out of this. Wait, I don't get in this. It was awesome, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun tonight. Let's take a look at it. This is how they would do it back in the 70s. If you won the race, the whole crew would pile on the car and ride it to victory lane. That touched my heart right there as an old school fan.
I have images of Bobby Allison driving, you know, with his crew on the car. That's cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Rick, I think DJ just bailed him out of a fine. When Dale Jr. said it touched his heart, I think they're safe.
Touched his heart, and a lot of smiles there. The celebration will continue for quite some time for Kurt Busch. Let's go to Krista, Kyle, and DJ now.
I can say clear. I may not see your face, but I smell your fear. I'm gonna find you, this I swear. You're gonna feel my wrath around you everywhere. This is war, it's warfare. We won't stop, we won't surrender. We're not done until the war is won.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.